What's happening, weirdos? Rob Riggle. Long overdue. So glad that this wonderful man is here on the show. This wonderful man. But he is wonderful. He's hilarious. He's talented. You may know him from The Daily Show, Step Brothers. Step Brothers, anybody? All of those. The other guys. He's incredible. He's so funny. He's an ex-Marine. He's a current comedian. Go to robriggle.com for all your Rob Riggle needs, or follow him on Instagram and X and all of that to see what Rob is up to. He's so funny, and you're going to see in this wonderful conversation. Not a lot for me to say up top, only that I am also on tour, the Feelin' It Tour. We are going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm going to be at Los Angeles, Largo. I'm glad that's on my website. November 21st is the next Largo show. Usually I say go to largo-la.com, but you can go to peteholmes.com. There it is. I don't know who did that, but thank you. LA on November 21st. That's always so fun. Indianapolis, Seattle, Portland. We added a second show in Portland at the Aladdin. We're going to be filming those shows. Hope you guys can be there. And then Phoenix, Arizona. The only reason I skipped Eugene, Oregon, I'm coming, but it's sold out. Thank you to everybody that's coming out to these shows. Hope to see you out on the road. So happy you're here. Enjoy the wonderful Rob Riggle. Get into it. So you have a choice to make.
Oh, wow.
A little bit older.
Like this is how it always shows up for me.
You drink this?
Uh-huh.
Well, this is the new formula. This is the old formula. One of the reasons they updated it is because the old one used to gunk up a little bit more.
I'll stay with the new.
Okay.
I'm not going to roll the dice on something like this.
But the old one had a little bit of cocaine in it. People don't know that. I'm glad you know it, because as an improviser, look, this isn't sponsorship talk.
No, I want to talk about this.
Okay, take the mic there, because
are we rolling?
We're rolling.
No, that's
it's a sabotage.
I literally just walked in.
It's a sabotage, Marine.
Oh my God, you guys don't play like out of the gates. Wait, were we recording on the driveway?
There has to be a tactical term for that. Like, we swarm in. Well, we do want the guest in a nice
action
way.
mission. This is a direct action.
A direct action mission.
Yes,
Look, I'm going to be Marine light on this. I watch a lot of clips, and so many people just want to talk to you about Marine stuff. So I'm going to give you my promise that will be comedy heavy and Rob heavy, and not burden you with representing the Marines in every turn.
Listen.
But there is, if you'll allow,
Please.
a friendly tactical advantage to disorienting the guest a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes, well, because, it's your interview, it's your show. Therefore, you kind of want to be able to drive it. You're driving the bus.
That's right.
So, I'm just a passenger. So sit down, relax. And now we're going to go here. But I don't know where you're turning. I don't know where you're going.
And there is the slightest, and again, it's all friendly, but there's the slightest, and yes, we are going.
Yeah.
In the same way that when you go to Disneyland, like a wall opens and you're like, this is the ride. Like, it's to delight you and to make you happy. But Walt Disney was definitely twisting his mustache, being like, and the children won't know. You ever been on the Haunted Mansion and the room starts expanding? They want you out of your gourd.
So I just went to a haunted house with Paul Scheer, who always drives these things. He's so motivated. I love that guy. He's like the social chairman of the world, because he knows. He knows what's going on. He goes, "Have you heard about this?" I'm like, "No, I haven't heard about this." You got to try this, guy.
I know.
Well, he found a haunted house out by my house, way out there.
I'm going to pause.
Yeah.
Real or for entertainment?
For entertainment. Yeah. But it was one of those things where I walked into one of the rooms, and the room spins like this, but it's a bridge through it.
Okay.
And if you take your eye off the bridge and look at the spinning
This is weird.
barrel,
I was just on one of those.
all of a sudden, I was upside. If I didn't have a hold of that railing.
I just was in, it doesn't matter, but I was in some city. It was Denver.
Okay.
And we went to the Museum of Illusions or something. And one of them was...
Trippy.
You went in, and when you're standing outside of it, I just did this.
Yeah.
You're standing outside of it. You're like, oh, I can see. There's a projection.
I can manage this.
Of a spin.
Yeah.
And then you walk in the room, and as soon as you're in the room, you're revealed to be the delicate crystal and water-based equilibrium pathetic mammal that you are.
Yeah, it was all-encompassing.
Yes.
Because I was fine on the outside. I saw what I was going into, and I was like, I got this. I got into it, took my eye, and I had a hold of the railing, thank God.
I thought the railing was dumb. Did you also think it was dumb?
I thought it was childish. I thought it was
for the children.
Yeah, that's for the weak ones. The weak ones in the herd.
It's for the weak of the herd. Those that shall not be breeded with, for they are slowing us down.
And thank God I had a hold of it, because as soon as I took my eye off and looked to my left or right, I got caught up in the spin.
Yeah.
And I went upside down in my head. I was
wow,
like, thank God I had a hold of that thing.
Yours was intended for horror. Mine was at a setting that's for children and elderly. So you might have even been at a scarier spin setting.
I was glad to get through the other side. Let me put it that way. Because I immediately had to close my eyes just to get centered again.
It's very strange how our brains are building reality, and how even if you know it's a projection, you're like... There's like your highest cognition that knows it's a projection, but there's another meaning, reality building part of your brain that is just like, sorry guys. Yeah. Like he's kind of embarrassed.
Yeah.
I know you told me it's a projection, but I think we're spinning 360. And that's the message I'm going to send to you. Well, even though you told me it's not.
And we live in this world too, where we know all the stuff. I know that if I sit down and get on social media and start doing this, right? I'm in for an hour. Yeah. Okay. And I've lost that hour. And then I hate myself afterward.
You won't feel better.
No, you
won't feel better.
It's all bad, and I know it.
Yes,
but the dopamine hit I get from it is so strong.
And the dopamine seeking impulse that we all have.
It's so strong. I know there's fake news. I know there's social media. I know all these things.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I still like a dog, like a rat to a feeder bar.
Yeah.
I go back and I hit that goddamn thing.
And I think that's key. The human being's propensity, dare we say, for self-deception, and also like enjoying kind of the wicked arts.
We want to escape now. We do. Yeah. Everybody does, because we're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We live in a world we've never lived in before, where we have everything at our disposal, all this knowledge at our disposal, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Question. That's the right answer. That's right. It's all wonderful.
It's wonderful. I know there's an upside.
But I
don't know if we've explored or really understand the depth of the downside.
Yeah. You ever get off social media and immediately want a piece of cake or something because the dopamine is still? Yeah. You've just been.
Yeah.
It's really humbling to recognize how when I say rat, I don't mean, metaphorically, like you're sneaky. I just mean like you are like a rat. You were given in a lab. You're giving an impetus, a stimulus.
I hit the feeder bar.
And that's us. The reason why they won't stop testing rats is because it's so accurate for us. And when I get off of a scroll and then I'm looking for cake or some other continuation, it's the same with stand-up. You do a great set. That's why there was such a Coke problem and drinking problem. It's like you're looking for a way to extend it.
Same thing with a good golf shot.
Is that true?
If you hit it right in the center and it crushes the ball and the ball goes further than you pop, it resonates. Yes. It's like a tuning fork down to your loins. I mean, it really is.
Straight to the loins.
You go, I want that feeling again. And you come back and you chase it.
And that's what those men are doing.
And that's why you're hooked on golf. And you're like, I'm pouring money in this. You play terrible, but you get one shot around that you're like, oh.
But I wonder how many things are addictions.
Here's the upside.
I mean? Not in a bad way. Go ahead.
Here's the upside to social media. I was minding my own business, and I saw you talk about this.
I sold it to you?
You sold it only because I do have a deep respect for you.
It's sincere.
I have a deep respect for you. So when I heard you wax poetic about this, I really thought, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
And there must be something to it. So I immediately went on. I got on.
Yes.
And they started sending it to me, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is I get busy doing social media.
I'm looking for cake.
Looking for shit.
Kind of a classic dad ass
in my
scratch
echo
in
chamber,
a robe.
Getting things told to me that I already know and like,
That's
just
right.
all that shit.
Oh my God, yes.
But I did see this, and now I get it every month, right? But the problem is I'm behind. So they're stacking up on me.
Yeah.
So they thank God though. You know what I like about them the most?
Yeah.
They write me and say, we're about to send you a new batch. What do you want us to do?
You can text.
And I go, can you please hold it for a month? They go, yeah, we'll hold it. So I can get a month off to catch up.
I want every company to do this.
This was the smartest thing, because that's why I'm still with them. Otherwise I would have canceled.
I think, look, I'm one of those people. I hope people are interested in this. I think business is really interesting. I think the psychology of business is really interesting. Yeah. And there are two ways to do it. You ever try to unsubscribe from a crooked company? And by crooked, I mean they know.
Yeah, they know. They give you a matrix or a maze.
Yeah,
it's a maze. It's a maze to get through.
Dude, I was trying
and
to
it's double speak, and it's
yes.
So am I unsubscribed or am I not?
And it's in a field, and it's not in a field. And I'm trying to think of my mother, my 80-something-year-old mother. She's 83. Let's say.
Of course.
Looking for that. She's not going to do it.
Nobody
She's going to
is.
get frustrated. But here's the thing. Your relationship with that product is actually going down. So it's like, yeah, you're keeping a customer, but you're actually building, it's like a toxic relationship. Now you're still together.
Yeah.
Because you said, let's break up at the Space Needle, and then you weren't there.
But they resent you, and now they hate you. It's toxic.
It's still coming.
That's a great way to put it. It's a toxic relationship.
And the next time their grandson is over, they're not only going to unsubscribe, they're going to ask for a refund for the last one, because fuck you, dude. Like, seriously, fuck. You know where it was? I couldn't find and I consider myself, I think we all do, like we all think we're good drivers. I think I'm a good web navigator. It was behind a pop-up.
Come on.
Meaning they were hiding the unsubscribe button behind a field that I had to close, and then I could see the unsubscribe button. And I was like, I'll never work with you again.
Yeah.
And there's a couple companies, Magic Mind is one of them. Real Paper is another one that will text you and say, it's coming. Do you want it?
Yeah.
And just press
Are we good
one.
this month?
Do you want to pause?
Yeah.
Because
it's nice too, because I've been traveling so much this year that I literally was like, I'm not going to be in town for a month.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no. And they go, got it. And then it pauses. And then I'll come back and they go, how about now? I go, no. And then they go, okay. And then it gets to like the 90-day mark or whatever. They go, how about now? I'm like, actually, yeah, I'll take this month.
That's right.
Because I'm ready for it now. I'm caught up. And that's why I'm still with them like 2 years into this.
It should be easy, but nobody wants to do this. People all want short money.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, but we can get the $30 by confusing them. Right. And good companies, not just this one, but like good companies. I do think of places like Disney and stuff that have these like Four Seasons. Do you know the policy of the Four Seasons is to never say no? Have you ever said, like, if I ever get put up in a Four Seasons,
I like this, though.
I'm very aware that like their corporate policy is to never say no.
Did an employee tell you that, or did you actually find?
An employee told me that.
I like that. Okay.
I did a junket, and it was at the Four Seasons, and I said, can I get a room?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to commute, and they said yes. And I was like ordering room service and stuff, and they came, and I made some like modification to the meal, and I was surprised that they could do it. And the guy was like, we never say no. That's our policy. Meaning, if you say, I want a crab meat omelet, they don't say we don't have crab meat. But here's kind of the twist or the catch.
Because there has to be an out for them some way. Otherwise, it gets obnoxious.
The out is, are you willing to wait 6 hours? Because we'll go to downtown to the crab market.
Jesus.
Like, and then also we're gonna charge the shit out of you for that.
We'll say yes, but at a premium. At a premium.
But like,
but I guess there's something to it, though. I mean, like, I guess if you're that kind of client who's got the juice, I guess, you know,
they are the eccentric billionaire client.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they are the ones, and then they don't even want it. You know, you find the crab meat omelet in the room, 2 bites.
I never understood the super special request to the.
Yeah. Well, that's there was a Hitchcock movie where a woman puts her cigarette out in her cold cream, and it's just like, that's always the image that I see of the very rich. But we're back to the meaningless.
Yeah.
When like getting what you want isn't the meaning of life. It's actually, and I'm not saying this is the meaning of life, but it's much closer to struggling, falling, fumbling, uniting with others, achieving a goal together, and then getting this fulfillment. You know this from stand-up, and I know we're going to be Marine light, but I have to imagine you know that from the Marines.
Yeah.
Was your feeling?
I think everything. I do think you have to have purpose to have a fulfilled life, and I think I think that the most satisfaction in life usually is on the other side of some sort of struggle.
Something you didn't want.
Some sort
say
of
it every time.
Some sort of struggle, though. Whatever that is.
I like to. The reason I say don't want, I say what you want is on the other side of something you don't want. Right? Joseph Campbell said, "The treasure you seek is in the cave you're afraid to go."
Yeah.
This is one of the weirdest little like paradoxes or conundrums is better.
It really
built
is.
into the human experience.
It's interesting though, because I'm not going to drill down too deep on it, but I've been in a hurt locker for the last several years.
Yeah, I actually just saw this morning that you got divorced, and I'm sorry.
Yeah,
is that what you're referencing?
Yeah.
I'm not. This isn't that kind of show.
Yeah.
Anything you want, even in a week that you want to take out, we'll take. It's your episode.
Yeah.
So please feel safe.
Well,
but I saw that, and I felt for you.
Yeah.
It seems like a pickle.
It's been bad. It's been really painful. Really
Would
bad.
you say
really
it's
painful.
a pickle?
I would say it's a pickle. A hot box. One of those. It's a pickle.
It's a hot box pickle.
Yeah. It's like a baseball when you're trapped between second and third because it never ends. That's a pickle.
Like
That's a pickle.
Yeah. It's a baseball pickle.
Yeah. No, it's just a nightmare is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's been really painful. But as part of this, and I'm still in it, but you kind of have to grow.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And you have to reflect if you're trying to improve yourself, you have to reflect and say, okay, let me strip it all down.
Yeah.
And go back to, okay, I got this wrong. I did this right though. And I know I did this right. And maybe I had a partner that wasn't, doing things right or whatever, but you have to sort out where you're at fault and where you're not.
Like an honest look.
An overview.
Look.
But that suffering is part of it.
Yeah.
And then I think when you come out of any kind of suffering, you're better, whether it's physical. I'm training for a marathon. Okay. Well, that's a painful process, but when you're done, you ran the marathon, and you're stronger.
Right.
Well, you go through emotional pain, right? You have to do some soul searching and you have to go through that and you have to level up and you have to grow.
Right.
But then you get to the other side. And then, if you get on a spiritual level too, you can, whatever you believe, whatever religion or faith or whatever, you go through something and you probably are a little wiser because you found something in a faith, a religion or a whatever your thing is.
Because you were brought to the limit.
Yeah.
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 The quote that comes to mind is like, when we do something when we get through something we didn't think we could, we get this realization we must not be what we thought we were. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we flatter ourselves, human beings, not just through divorces, all sorts of adversity. Yeah. We think we'll change without it. And that's kind of the bargain we make with the universe. It's like, no, I'll keep growing. Yeah. And you realize wait, no, you're not. No one will. No one will. Yeah. That's the story of the Buddha. He was a king. He's in the palace. He's got all the food he wants. He's got all the women he wants. I believe that's specifically mentioned. There's like orgies and stuff. Yeah. So he's got all the pleasure that he could have and all the safety that he could have and all the food and the comfort. And then he realized he had to leave. So that's a very special thing to walk away from that. But most of us are just only changing when we absolutely have to. And it sounds like that's what you're experiencing.
That's the truth. That's
right?
very true. Yeah, because you do get comfortable and you do figure things out. And nobody wants to be a rookie again. Nobody wants to start over.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get back into the grind. It's funny because I'm flirting with the idea, and I haven't done stand-up in 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And I'm flirting with the idea of building a new set.
That's because pain is back in your life. I say that as someone who loves stand-up. I've never stopped doing it. I've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah.
I love it. And so much of it is dealing with predictable discomfort. At least it's predictable.
Yeah. Well, for me, I got out of it because I had little kids, and I needed to be home more. And, that life on the road is hard. It's a hard life.
You did that? Forgive me. I know you're a very funny stand-up. I didn't know you ever went full bore and toured.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For your living.
Yeah.
I always just kind of assumed you're in so many
because I was
movies.
double dipping. I was doing the Daily Show and things like that. Yeah. And I was out on the road also doing comedy.
Yeah. Did someone tell you to make hay while the sun was out?
Well, one of those. You always hear that. You always hear that. You're like, oh yeah, we can book you. You can headline here. You can do this. And I was like, all right, and so I was out there doing it, but it was really taking a toll, on my physical body, my mental. Yeah. When I got home.
How old were you when you started?
Oh God.
Oh, I only bring that up because if it's over 40, there's something where you're like, this isn't cute anymore. Like I told you, I was just in Denver. I've been going to Denver every year, once a year for over a decade.
The Comedy Works?
Yeah, the Comedy Works.
I love the Comedy Works in there.
Me too. And now I'm 45. I just went and I was like, I can't breathe. I was like, these lands were available to your ancestors for a reason.
Yes.
No one can breathe here. That's why it was so easy to settle here.
Oh, fuck. I get winded so easily.
Winded speaking.
I just have good cardio. I get winded.
Winded. And also just sitting in a chair on a plane. Yeah. I never used to think about that. The up and the down. Too many ups and downs. I'm like, what? The pressure.
Oh, and it really does happen. That's why it's so funny is the whole aging process is because nothing bothered me when I was a young man.
Me neither.
I slept standing up.
Yep.
I would eat a fucking cracker and I could get through the day. Like, it didn't matter what. I could eat a Mr. Goodbar and be set. I was cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, if I don't get a decent meal, I'm going to fucking die. And if I don't get some sleep, I mean, you turn into this old crusty bed over.
Because what you were running on as a young man was youth.
Yeah. It's so true.
It wasn't food or
and now
sleep.
that
it
phrase,
was
youth is wasted on the young. I see it every day now, and I'm like, just get up and go do something. You have no idea how good it is right now.
I think about that all the time. I think that's part of, I'll say for myself, getting older, part of me is going like, Jesus, like, do you know when I was young, I would be like, I should exercise. And I swear somebody was like, you shouldn't lift weights until you're like 21. Somebody was like, because then it's like a Boston thing. You're not fully developed. It's bad for you. And I was like, all right, eating a pizza. Okay. Like people were giving me excuses to not work out. And I'm like, can you imagine? Forget about like looking good or feeling good. Just how amazing it would have felt to be like 18 years old, just like having the energy to lift and it feeling good.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
I remember because I played high school sports, so I remember those days. Teenage years, and the level of training. Like, give me a break. And
it probably felt good.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. And you didn't even know what you had.
And you're having like a Capri Sun, winning a game, going home sleeping for 40 minutes, and then just being just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pretty glorious. How are you navigating these emotions? How are you dealing with it? How are you processing it? Because we all sometimes get a big plate of garbage that we have to eat.
Yeah.
And the first thing I said to you, and it's true, you look like a young man. Like you came in and I'm like, this is a vivacious, alive.
Thank you. God bless you.
You look wonderful. So like, how are you dealing with stress? That's a pretty generic topic that nobody can use against you in the court of law.
Yeah. It's all just a hard candy shell. That's all it is.
Are you really in really a mess?
I think I'm wounded deeper than I've ever been wounded before. And I'm incredibly, I wrestle with so many emotions on a daily basis now, things that I never experienced, never thought I would experience, and sorting through those things, and then still trying to be everything I need to be. I need to be a dad. I do have a girlfriend. I'm trying to be a good partner for her. I have parents that need me. I have friends that I love, and I want to make sure they're good.
Yeah, you cut those loose straight away. They don't make it.
Dead weight.
They don't make it.
Yeah,
you just mentioned aging parents, boyfriend, dad. Bye, Paul. Can't go to the haunted mansion this year, buddy. Tell Manzukis I said what's up, because I'm out.
But trying to manage all that, and then oh, by the way, I'm trying to do what we all do in this business. I'm trying to get work. I'm trying to develop material. I'm trying to write a TV show. I'm trying to write a screenplay. I'm trying to find friends that I really enjoy and love their work and respect them and work with them on something, with in an environment where we just came through a strike and a pandemic and a industry that's, fading away, at least in this state, and so it's these are trying times. These are the times that try men's souls. And so then that's why I think, you do fall back on certain things. You got to go back and find a rock, the classic, the proverbial rock to anchor your feet on and say, okay, all right, this is solid. Now let me start rebuilding and figuring some things out from here.
Yeah.
And that's the best I can do. Of course, I try to do everything I can to help myself. I go see a therapist who has more of a toolbox than I do. And I can go to him and say, okay, I had this thought today and that can't be right.
Right.
And then I get a perspective, that may help. And then I also have really good friends, thank God, that I can burden with a phone call and say, okay, is this wrong? Is this right? And
can you help me carry this? Sometimes you just have to say it.
Yeah.
The friendships that are so valuable to me are just like the friends that you can be like, I don't mean this isn't, but I have to say that. It's usually about my parents. I'll be like, and they'll be like, yeah, everybody feels that way sometime or whatever.
Yeah.
I always think of Sam and Frodo going up Mount Doom to get rid of the ring.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'll carry you for a little while. So I'm sorry you're going through that. But I'm glad. Are people already saying to you, like, it's going to be a good show? This is going to be a good TV show? Surveillance wife?
Yeah. You know, what's funny is I'm one of those believers too. And, you know, if you can laugh about it,
yeah,
you know, later you probably could laugh about it now.
Yeah.
And, you know, this has been going on for years though. So I'm in that place where, yeah, I want to get to that place. I want to get to that place where I'm going to look back and go like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Or I could make it hilarious.
Right.
You know, and
Just
that's
not there yet.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I've noticed that this is the guest, this is the Wednesday episode of this podcast. On a Friday, Val and I, my wife and I, do the Friday episodes. But because we do it every Friday, we're recording it much closer to real time. And I've noticed that I need about 3 weeks. If something really embarrassing happens, I don't want to talk about it the week it happened. My brain needs time to put it together.
Yeah.
So when it's like a massive continental shift, you sometimes need years to frame that.
Yeah.
I did my show about my divorce, very different situation, obviously, but it was like 10 years after the fact. You know, that's just kind of how it goes.
I think that's the thing people underestimate.
Yeah.
I think people think, oh yeah, well that sucks, you know, and moving on, you know. You know, I was married for a long time, you know, and I was really in love, and you know, but then these things happen, right? And so, you know, it takes a lot longer than you anticipated. I know there's a process to it, but it takes time.
You close with Wahlberg? He seems like the guy. Call Mark.
No, I haven't called him yet.
Hey buddy, how's it going? What's up, Robbie? Yeah, I saw on Wikipedia a couple of the details. I didn't just want to do the impression. I actually thought that seemed like a guy that most people in your situation would envision that you're in a snowstorm and Mark Wahlberg is like helping you out of the snow. I got you. I'm glad you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a ghost? This is just a palate cleanser. Then we'll move into back into our.
Thank you. I have not seen a ghost. I've never seen a ghost. However,
we'll be right back. I'm just kidding. That's the mid-rolls.
We'll be right
back. I'm just kidding.
When we come back, we never talk about it. We never.
Sure,
and people be dying to be like, you go the thing.
We get comments like that all the time. It's like, you said you'd come back to the thing about Switzerland and you never came back to it. And I'm like, I know. I'm stuck in here. I also missed the story. Pardon the interruption, weirdos. You guys know I'm obsessed with ways to strengthen my immunity and my gut health, as well as my fitness, my endurance, my metabolism, hair, skin, radiance. Imagine, it's like an old-timey commercial. Imagine if there was one product that did all of those things. Well, there is. It's ARMRA Colostrum. Colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life and contains all of the essential nutrients our bodies need to thrive. I'm talking about reactivating hair growth and glowing skin by reducing inflammation and puffiness in your face and neck, as well as stimulating stem cells to produce collagen and increase elasticity. I'm talking about igniting your metabolism and fortifying your gut health so you feel less bloated. This is a huge one for me. When I forget my ARMRA Colostrum, I feel it first in my stomach. I go, why do I feel so bloated? You take it, you feel lighter while replenishing your microbiome, stabilizing blood sugar, and accelerating fat burning, which also helps with cravings when you stabilize your blood sugar, as well as fueling your fitness, performance, and recovery. ARMRA Colostrum is a proprietary concentrate of bovine colostrum that harnesses over 400 living bioactive nutrients to rebuild the barriers of your body and fuel cellular health for a host of research-backed health benefits. I absolutely love it for my immunity. I feel like it's really helping me stay not sick, stay well, as my daughter brings home who knows how many different types of colds. So I've seen these results and I've felt them, like I said, in my gut, in my body, and my overall wellness. We've worked out a special offer for weirdos. Receive 15% off your first order. Go to tryarmra.com/weird or enter weird at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's tryarmra.com/weird. We're also brought to us by our friends at CHUBBIES, a lifestyle apparel brand that has no equivalent in all of human history. They make the most comfortable clothing with the most unique designs ever. Just last night, Val and I went on a date and I wore my coastal cotton Sunday shirt. What color did I choose? I'm glad you asked. The color is called Soft Sunset Sky. Come on. How cool is that? It's the coastal cotton Sunday shirt, soft sunset sky. It looked great and it felt fantastic on my body. That is a win-win. I do not typically like wearing dress clothes, but these clothes are different. Chubbies offers a huge variety of high-quality men's apparel, from super stretchy shorts and swim trunks in 3 inseam lengths, depending on how much of your beautiful thigh you want to show, to pants, polos, and button-down shirts for when you need to hit up your favorite weekend brunch spot. When others see you sporting Chubbies in the wild, they're bound to say, "Oh, wow, cool, that person's wearing Chubbies." I now immediately respect them and think they are amazing. Try their iconic original stretch shorts. Pair that with their Friday shirts, from the casual button-downs to retro-inspired prints. These shirts are built to kick back, chill out, and party down. And for a limited time, our friends at Chubbies are giving our listeners 20% off with the promo code WEIRD at checkout at chubbiesshorts.com. It's 20% off your order with promo code WEIRD. Show your support of this show and tell them we sent you. Don't just blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. Go to chubbiesshorts.com and use promo code WEIRD. Back to the show. So what happened? Is this a Flyboy story?
It's a weird story that I've never told anybody this, actually. It happened when I was in the Marines. We were moving into Kosovo from Macedonia. Okay, this is back in 99. And NATO had sections. So the English, the French, Americans, and the Russians at the time, and even though they're not part of NATO, they were part of the multinational force that everybody had a sector. So we were moving from Macedonia up into the northern part of Kosovo, which was the U.S. sector, right next to Serbia or whatever. So we had, it was about a 2-day convoy to get up there. Well, the first night we had to spend in a field, and one of the jobs I had to do was make sure the media that was tagging along in this caravan with us was actually taken care of and okay. They operated on their own, so they were outside of our little wagon wheel defense that we created, because they had no light or sound discipline. So they were over there with their lights on, making noise and shit. So we were like, you got to stay over there. If you're
we can't tell you why, but you can't be with us.
You can't be around our troops making noise and flashing spotlights. And,
right.
So if you're going to do that business, you got to go down the road.
Wow.
So they went down the road. So I was walking outside our perimeter, going down the road
Didn't
to
they
see
say
them.
like, why?
Yeah.
We
told them.
You're very unsafe.
You're completely unsafe in a hostile area with your absolute lack of noise and light discipline.
This guy's showing TikToks. Look at that.
Exactly.
I've been making pancakes wrong.
Yeah. And they were sleeping in their vehicles, and so they kept them running all night, just like all kinds of shit. So I had to be the go-between, to go back and forth between these things. So I'm down there kind of just saying, all right, listen, we're shutting down for the night. If anything goes wrong, if anything happens, just lay on your horns. People will come down to help you or whatever, God forbid, someone tries to attack you or kidnap or whatever they're going to do. But that's our best deal. And we're just shooting the shit. And I think I smoking a cigarette with the guy at the time. We were just burning.
Because you're in the light loose place.
Exactly. There's nobody's discipline here.
That's what I was thinking. 3 soldiers to a man.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Isn't that an old light?
Oh yeah,
thing?
yeah, very much light discipline and all that stuff. So we're just shooting the shit, and all of a sudden, the whole ridgeline lights up, but in blue and red and white lights like I've never seen before. And I'm talking about an entire ridgeline. And it was spectacular. It looked like a fireworks display was going on just underneath the ridgeline.
Whoa.
And I'm sitting there looking, I go, what the F is that? And the guy with me was a cameraman, old crusty cameraman, beard and everything. And he goes, it's a UFO, man. I go, what? I go, it's not a UFO. And I go, it's probably like some sort of electric station or something, blowing up or, and he's like, no, man, come on. Don't be stupid. He was almost like, don't be stupid. It's a fucking UFO. I go, that's not a UFO. Like, I don't see anything flying. He goes, look at the lights, man. Look at the scope. Look at the range. Look. You think that's an electrical box? He's like, it's a UFO, dude.
Because it's spanning miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just smoked a cigarette and was as nonchalant about it as he could have been. He had so much confidence that it actually, I was like, what? Huh? He just was so matter of fact, like, grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up. It's the UFO. And I was like, I guess maybe, I don't know. It could have been anything. I don't know, but it was something like I had never seen. And but I didn't see it. I didn't even know what I was seeing. I was just seeing a red, white, and blue light display. I wasn't seeing like pops and sparks. I wasn't seeing, like that. So I didn't know what I didn't know what I was seeing. And then just as fast as it was there, it was gone.
Wow. Holy shit.
And so I remember walking back to our where we were kind of bivouacked or set up, for the night. And I just was thinking, what the fuck did I just see? Oh, well, it's one of those things like, I don't know. I can't explain it and I don't have time. I got to get up at 04 tomorrow, make sure everything's ready to go. And so I was like,
did nobody in your convoy? I don't know.
Nobody, I mean, people saw it.
They saw it.
People saw it, but it was like, no one could explain it. So everybody's like, fuck it. We're tired. Let's go to bed. We got to get up tomorrow. We got shit to do.
I mean, how many great
So I've never seen a ghost, but I saw that, and I still don't know what it is to this day.
Wow. Yeah, I thought maybe as a pilot, so many, they don't call them UFOs anymore. Is it UAP or something?
Yeah. Oh, well, one time I was flying. I had my pilot's license when I was in college, and I was flying in Lawrence, Kansas, and a P-40. You know what those are? Those old, the Flying Tigers used to fly P-40s.
It's a propeller plane?
Yeah. It's an old World War II. It was built in the 19...
It's got a mouth on the side?
Yeah, it had that's what it was, the Flying Tigers.
Yeah.
And they used to fly these P-40s. And I remember I was flying, and it was an uncontrolled airport, and I would talk, say, hey, whatever I was, Cessna, blah, 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 coming in, base, final, downwind, base, final, for landing at this place. And there's no air traffic control, so you just announce it to all the traffic in the area, right? Because it's basically just pilots talking to pilots. It's basically just a PA saying, hey, this is where I'm at. Right. This is what I'm doing. Coming in for a landing. Here's where I'm at. So keep your eyes peeled for me, basically.
I go right to, does anybody abuse that? Just telling jokes. Get off this line.
This is not the place, Tom. This is not the place.
I had a pilot once do George Carlin's baseball football routine while everyone was deplaning, and I was like, there's got to be something in the bylaws that says you can't do that. Yeah. Like, that's an emergency line, sir.
Yes. No horseplay. Focus.
Yes.
Focus.
No roughhousing. No horseplay. Focus up.
But I was flying into the pattern, which, so you're low. You're only like 1,000 feet off the ground or whatever. And a P-40 came flying by. And I thought, wow, that's cool. Vintage aircraft, or whatever. And so, but it made no calls.
Rob.
It made no calls.
Stop it.
I'm being totally serious.
Stop it.
Being totally serious. Stop. Made no calls.
This story is already a classic. You're just, wow.
I did.
Classic vintage.
I thought it was a vintage aircraft. It was a World War II fighter.
And it didn't announce itself.
It didn't announce itself. It made no radio calls. I was the only person in the pattern. It just went, whoa. And I thought, oh, cool.
You probably felt it too.
No, I didn't feel it, but I saw it. Okay. It was very clear to me. I saw it, and it just kept going. And I thought, oh, cool. That's weird. They didn't make any announcements. They didn't announce their presence. I go, maybe they don't have a radio in the old planes. Of course they fucking have a radio these days. You couldn't fly without one. Yeah. So but I just didn't get it. And then I thought, well, I probably didn't think you needed to announce stuff because only me in the pattern. Anyway, boop-a-doop-a-doo. And then I landed and taxied in, and I don't even think I talked to him because I think I was flying solo. So I don't even think I talked to anybody about it. Just bizarre shit like that you're like, was that real? Did that happen? I think it did.
That story definitely needs when we do the movie version. Hey, did you see that?
Yeah. Did you see that P-40?
Yeah. Huh? There hasn't been a P-40 in these parts. You couldn't even take off a P-40 in this humidity.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Come on. Everybody knows that.
So you're just seeing like the echo of a... Oh my God.
So those are the only, I don't have
good.
I don't have supernatural experiences, and I can't explain the ones that these, whatever they are, things that happened.
Yeah.
So I can't sit there and say, this happened to me. I saw something. I don't know what it was. Well, I saw something. Maybe it happened.
The human brain definitely has them. You know how it deletes childbirth? It also, you can't remember pain. There are these certain fail-safes in the human brain. And I think we have one for what? And
unexplainable.
It's not useful.
Yeah.
So you're mentioning Kosovo. I'm not putting down that part of the world, but it is more like the past potentially. You know what I mean? So there's a mountain range, and it's not Times Square. There's fewer things. Yeah. And imagine like Bible times, you're just walking with the sheep. Yeah. The weird shit people must have seen. So it's evolutionary beneficial to just be and then I ate a sandwich. You know what I mean? Even as you tell me.
Yeah.
I won't remember that story probably. Yeah. Maybe I will now that I pointed it out. Yeah. But like in 5 years, I'll see you. I won't be like the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, the
bridge.
lights, man, the lights.
And I saw something, this is so boring, I'm going to make it real fast, but I saw something on Instagram that was similar. It was a security light, a security camera, and the whole skyline lit up red, and just like a movie, which is tricky because people do fake things. Yeah. But it looked like there was like it was, if it was VFX, everyone says this, if it was VFX, it was incredible VFX. Right. And I was like, because it looked bad.
Yeah. It looked like found footage probably.
Yeah, it didn't look good. Like sometimes you see something and you just immediately go, that's fake. It looks perfect. It's stupid. Yeah. This was like, and then like dogs barking and like car alarms going off in like the perfect soundscape. And you're like, okay, an Academy Award designer was bored and decided to hoax us. Or that is just like sometimes the sky just lights up red.
Well, for what, 50, 60 years, no one of any authority would even say acknowledge.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even acknowledge. I mean, come on. Nope, it's not real. No, we can prove it away. We can prove it away. We can prove it, blah, blah, blah. And then, what, just 2-3 years ago?
Yeah. That's right.
Finally, someone with authority, an authority figure comes out and says, yeah, something's out there and we don't know what it is. Right. Anyway, guys, there's a $5 footlong down here for sale. Does anybody care? And everybody's like, what? That's unbelievable. I got a meeting tomorrow. I got to go focus on that. Like, it's amazing. Like that should be the moment in human history.
I think you could even make it less exotic. The phenomenon of life. That we're alive. And I'm not trying to be all the way that I am. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that is such an unexamined phenomenon that we just get really used to very quickly and then eat $5 footlongs. Mm-hmm. So it's built into our experience to just kind of put aside
and also,
really crazy
you can only
stuff.
manage so much.
That's right.
You can only manage so much. You can't spend, maybe you can if you're blessed enough to spend time drilling down on the deeper issues and the deeper questions. God bless.
Yeah.
And I think reflection is critical to life.
But it sucks that you just said it is a luxury because it kind of is. And most people that are afforded the opportunity to navel gaze, as we kind of call it, don't.
Yeah.
They fill their lives with stress about recycling and like, I think my assistant ordered the wrong bed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't do it either.
When your biggest problem is your backup camera's foggy.
Yeah.
That's first world problems. Right?
That's right. Well, I used to have an old joke about it. I was like, we don't care about space, and I would include UFOs, and I'd include your Ridge story. Yeah. And I would include the phenomenon of consciousness, so the closest mystery to us, because you can't eat it or have sex with it, meaning we really are looking for short-term gains. Yeah. We're back to the company that hides the unsubscribe button. Yeah. Would rather con ourselves into these micro, instead of the long term.
Well, it's also kind of a Pandora's box too. Like if you open it up.
Yeah. I know a UFO guy.
It's like it's a little scary because that makes me want to ask more questions and more questions, and then all of a sudden next thing I know I'm in over my head, and I'm filling my head with paranoia, fear. Yeah. And fear I think is that's the enemy.
I agree.
Fear is the enemy, and it's constantly trying to get at you from so many places and so many angles.
I completely agree.
And it haunts you, and it stalks you, and it waits for you.
And it robs your life.
And it robs you.
You can't enjoy anything if you're afraid, obviously. But like, I'll give you a very real-world example. I used to be really afraid of alien abduction. That was just like a very scary, like not funny to me. Like when people were kind of like, they took a cow. I'm like, ah! Like I was just like not chill about it. Because I saw Fire in the Sky when I was like 15, like just young enough.
I remember that movie. Right? D.B. Sweeney?
We all remember. Who was in it?
D.B. Sweeney.
He
was the guy that was abducted.
Oh, that's his name?
Yeah.
Don't say it. I'm just kidding. They'll hear. They'll think we're D.B. Sweeney.
Well, that's the actor's name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the actor's name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the main guy.
No.
But I literally still catch myself. It's like a remnant of old religion too. Like I'm like, I'll just tell you the story. I watched the preview for a Netflix series called The Manhattan Alien Abduction or something. I just thought, well, that's interesting. Usually alien abduction, middle of a Kosovo field. You know what I mean? Right. That's what we just talked about. Like, that stuff happens in Iowa or it happens in...
where there aren't a whole lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, because if you were going to kidnap, an ant from an anthill, you take the one that's, kind of behind the group. Yeah. If you know the ants can talk about it. So you pluck this one. Yeah. So I just watched the preview for it. And apparently there were 20, all I know is there were 23 witnesses on the street that were watching a woman like floating in midair. And, you know, they're real New York. I thought it was special effects. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I thought it was nuts.
I thought the broad was on wires.
I was eating Junior's cheesecake and I look up, holy tamale, I can see this lady's ooh-ah. And then she goes into a UFO. So I just watched the preview for it. I added it to my list.
Is this on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
I think I've seen the ad for this.
Yeah. It was. Did you watch it?
I think
Was
it popped
good?
up. It popped up on my suggestion.
You bailed on it.
You didn't finish it because you didn't like it?
No, I was falling asleep.
Okay, there you go.
But it didn't freak you out. I watched the preview, and I like getting up real early in the morning. Another sign of being older. I love stealing those hours.
I am so with you on that.
Yes. Tell me.
I pop up at 5 a.m. like a shot.
I love it.
I pop up and from 5 to 8,
Golden.
I practice my Polish. I read my books. Do you mean
masturbate? Huh? I'm up practicing my Polish.
No, wink, wink. No, I'm learning the language. No. Hold on.
It's long and
That's
hard.
not a euphemism.
The words are long and hard. But once they burst out of your hole,
that's not even a thing.
You'll be glad you practiced your Polish. That's a thing.
It's not a thing.
That's how things start. You literally practice a language.
Yes.
And what else? I'm so on the edge of my seat.
I do some readings.
Yes.
I do some reflection.
Yes.
And I also just take a minute just to sit there, and I pray and I meditate and I do the things that I feel like I need to do to center myself. And then it's time to go wake up my boy for school or go for a nice walk or do the things.
We're doing it again.
Come on.
We're doing it again.
Yeah.
This is the wisdom of the aging man. And not all of us are doing it.
Yeah.
I'm a 5:30, but if I get up, I don't set an alarm. I'm just up.
I'm up. That's the thing. I don't have to set an alarm anymore.
My wife just sent me a thing that men do need less sleep. Something about the testes. Something about our hormones. Women reproduce their hormones in their sleep, I guess. So they're replenishing their supply. The balls will do it, rain or shine.
Wow.
Like they're just always.
I love it.
I know.
That's so good.
They're down there in that elbow skin, just helping us out. So for that reason, this one doctor said that men need less, and I'm experiencing that, and that's why she sent it to me. So I get up. It's 5:30 in the morning. It's probably 5:30, but you know it's still dark. So you get this like. It's like you've reached through a book from the first page and grabbed the last page, and now it's peeking out. Like it's very like inverted.
Yeah.
It's the day, but it's night. So you're already having this wicked little magic.
It's a secret time.
It's secret time. It's the week between Christmas and New Year's. It's just gone. It's secret time.
It is.
And it's dark.
But you get so much done. I get so much done that when the sun's up and the day has arrived, I feel so good.
Of course, because you robbed a bank that morning, Rob. Because there was a bank. There was a pile of money. I came to you and went, no one's up.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Anyone can take it. You can practice your Polish.
Yeah.
But and also, my spiritual teacher, Rupert Spirett, says that the morning is an auspicious time. I love that word, auspicious, because you were just asleep. And when we're asleep, this is, I would agree with this, but this is his idea, is that you were consciousness without an object. When you're asleep, it's a timeless, kind of eternal, selfless place. So it's very close to being merged with your creator.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I think we like sleep, is like, you're not Rob anymore, but you are.
Yeah.
And it goes by quickly.
I like it too, because I think that's when you're at your most relaxed state. And so the ideas flow. I feel like when you truly are relaxed, you're at your best. That's your best self, is at relaxed, not at high adrenaline, not at all these things.
Yes.
Those things are necessary for fight or flight and all that. But I'm talking about when you're your best self, it's generally when you're at your most relaxed state.
Think of Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And Bill Murray. Bill Murray even says
Bill
this.
Murray looks like he's about to fall asleep.
Bill Murray
I mean that in the best way.
Yeah, but he talks about it. He says, there's nothing that we don't do better in life when we're not relaxed.
You mean when we are relaxed?
When we are relaxed, sorry. When we are relaxed.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And whether it's giving a speech, whether it's acting, whether it's comedy, whether it's running, whatever you want, just if you're more relaxed, you're going to be better.
I think you're absolutely right.
And I think that's why the mornings are special, because we just come out of that.
Exactly. So that's part of the
closest you'll be to it.
You were just there. So if you're going to meditate or pray or whatever, you were just there. So when you're meditating, you're trying to shut off your mind. Your mind was just shut off.
Yeah.
So it's like you were just running. Let's run a little more.
Yeah.
But it's the opposite. You're just sitting. So anyway, I get up. It's 5:30. It's cold. My dog is there. It's my favorite time with my dog. We're like fucking snuggling and roughing around. I love him so much. Then it doesn't matter. It does matter for the story because I have a cold plunge and I love it. It's my first
I cold plunge too. Come on, what's going on here? Come on. I do love it.
I know you're in Step Brothers, but did we just become best friends?
I think we did. Yes.
I've said that a lot, but never to someone who's in Step Brothers. And John C. Reilly did the show. Shit. But we didn't bond like this. I'm just kidding. We had a great time.
Oh, good.
So I cold plunge in the morning and I love it. And I'm in this ice bath and I'm looking at the stars and one of my favorite things in the world. But then I remember the preview for Manhattan Alien Abduction, and suddenly I'm not really enjoying the cold plunges.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the stars and I'm like, we live in the country. We live outside of the city. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Now it's in my mind. I'm thinking about it. That's probably sending some sort of beacon to them. And all of this is irrational. I don't believe any of this, but I'm just like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. They could take me. My kid and my wife aren't going to be up for 3 hours. You know how much they could probe in 3 hours?
Yeah.
And then who's going to believe a guy?
And then who knows what the time continuum is where they take you? They could have you there for years and put you back here within minutes.
Exactly. They know the speed that they can fly.
Yeah.
The time, 1 minute is
it's like
the
year. It's like the Last Starfighter. You saw the movie? Remember The Last Starfighter?
No.
Oh, it's a classic from the 80s. It's The Last Starfighter. But they took him away to Romulus. And then he spent a lot of time there. When he got back, nobody even fucking knew he was gone.
I know this from Lightyear, which I didn't like, but it plays with the same idea. I don't know why I have to shit on it.
I got to tell you,
I love Lightyear.
When it comes to things like stargazing, I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've always been drawn to the night sky. I love looking at the stars, looking at the moon.
Yeah.
All these things talk to me, and I don't know why. They just do. And maybe it's just God's beauty that I just love taking in.
I mean,
the creation, like it's just like, and I like to think about good thoughts. I like to think about the beauty, the painting, the tapestry that is the world we live in.
Well, you're hearing me exactly right, because that's normally what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm having a moment where I'm like, I don't necessarily think these things consciously, like, bless you, Katie, that the moon is reflecting the sun and... Dante has this line where he says, God is the love that hung the stars. So there's something about seeing things suspended in nothing, just there. And you're like, there is something revelatory about it. But I don't think those things. I'm just kind of taking it in. But instead, I let fear in. And now I'm like, whatever. And what is that? It's self-centered. It's very self-centered. It's narcissistic almost. Like, there's aliens, they can read my mind and they're coming to get me in my cold plunge. And who's going to believe a guy that soaks in cold water? Nobody's going to believe me. But, it's robbing your life of what would have been a beautiful, quiet moment.
I've heard some interesting things in my experience in my journey, as far as spirituality, faith, religion, all that stuff. Now, and again, everybody's got their own faith or their own, and it's all great. But some of the things that I've read and heard, and that really kind of, I was like, that resonates. I like that. That's something I'm going to keep.
Yeah.
Worry is praying to the devil.
Wow.
That's what worry is.
I've heard
versions of
praying
that
for something you don't want.
Yeah, but worrying is like, that's praying to the bad guy, praying to the devil, praying. And then I've also heard, and it's true, is the most repeated phrase in the Bible.
Do not worry.
Do not be afraid.
Do not be afraid.
Do not be afraid.
I should have let you say it.
Yeah, but that's the most. So when someone asks me that, I go, I don't know. Love you. I didn't know. I thought, but it says it so many times. I think 365 times it says it in the.
Wow.
Do not be afraid. Do not be
there
afraid.
Was a corollary to our calendar. Weird.
Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. It just keeps repeating itself over and over and over and over and over. And to me, like that's the essence of it, because fear is the enemy.
I think you're right.
And so don't be afraid. And and for me, in a world that is just, you're getting inundated with everything, right? Finger banging the social media every day and all that. If you can just anchor yourself to a couple truths.
Yeah.
that you believe, whatever, but believe that that's the truth, and it's a wholesome truth, it's a healthy truth, then do that. Simplify, and then rebuild.
Well, here's another Bible fun fact, is that I don't think it's the whole Bible, but I know Jesus talks way more about faith than he does about love, and people would guess love. And faith, though, and this is what I got from Richard Rohr, is he says it's not believing in unbelievable things. It's not we've sort of turned it into, and it can be quite beautiful to say it in that way, but it's not believing in unbelievable things that have no proof. It's actually being comfort in not knowing, and that's what I hear you saying, is you might not have the answer, but at the core of a lot of spiritual traditions is, to use kind of church language, knowing you're held. I would say knowing you're a child of God is another way to say it, knowing that you belong, and knowing that you don't have to be afraid. There's this story that I heard Amma, the hugging saint, tell that I've told it before, but I think about it a lot. There was a doctor that brought his dog. It's not a true story. Doctor brings his dog to work. Doctor walks into a room. The dog isn't there. Walks into a room with a terminal patient, and the patient's like, "I'm dying and I'm afraid." Dog's scratching on the other side of the door. And the patient says, "Can you give me some comfort? I'm afraid I'm dying." And the doctor says, "I think it's like this. I think my dog has never been to this hospital with me before. He's never, come to work with me before. But he's scratching on the other side of the door. He really wants to get in this room, even though he's never been here. But he knows his master is in here. He knows his dad is in here." That's that quality that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And it's not being able to explain it beautifully, although I love people that can explain it beautifully. It's people that live with a certain certitude that they're not afraid.
Yeah.
And that comes from, in my experience, you're talking about spending your morning studying, meditating, praying, being quiet.
Yeah.
It's those encounters, it's that time that we spend. I believe it's Rumi that says, when we encounter God, we realize it's a lover, not a tormentor. But it comes from experiential.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
And it probably depends on where you are in your life, too.
Yeah.
And what you're going through and what you're dealing with that you're seeking answers for.
True.
And a lot of it for me is I just want peace.
Yeah.
I just want peace.
Yeah.
And I've stripped it down to that. Of course we're all ambitious. We hope this happens, hope that. But at the end of the day, I want to be good here. I want to be good here.
Yeah.
And I just want peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything else, hey, great.
It's funny. I might even use the word happiness there, because happiness kind of includes peace. And something that helps me in the world is remembering that everybody wants to be happy, even if they're making really strange choices. And then it can be a really helpful exercise to extend something out. It's what I was listening to this morning. It's like you're pitching a TV show, right? Yeah. If you can hold on to the idea that everything that makes you truly happy, and I don't mean circumstantially, I mean like your nature, your life, your divine nature is there and intact, and selling that show or not selling that show won't add or take away from that birthright, we could use biblical language, then you won't be pitching it from a place of fear or depravity. You'll be pitching it from a place of flow and generosity and collaboration and more with curiosity and wonder. Yeah. And that, even though I'm not a huge manifester, I do believe if you go around, and I'm about to pitch a show too, if you're like, I gotta sell it, that comes out, as opposed to I have this ball. Would you like to bounce it?
I think it's really cool.
It's cool. I would like that ball bouncing to give people pleasure and excitement and
I think,
joy.
Yes. And I think that's one of the quests that I'm trying, that we're all trying. Everybody's trying to figure things out, but is to focus on the beauty, focus on the good things. It's so hard to do, especially in the world we live in where we're just inundated with it. Yeah. But if I spend time thinking about the good, the lovely, the kind, the generous, the gracious, if I think about those things, it's my dad used to say garbage in, garbage out, because I'd be sitting on the TV, sitting on the couch, watching TV, and it was, some classic 80s horror movie, Freddy Krueger or something, right?
Yeah.
And he'd walk in and he'd look at it for 2 seconds and see, and he'd be like, "Oh, for the love of God!" And he'd walk out, and I'd always be like, "What? It's just a movie. It's fun." He goes, "Garbage in, garbage out, son. Garbage in, garbage out." He'd always say that.
Yeah.
And it meant nothing to me as a teenager. None of that stuff does, right? But then as you get older, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Of course. If I'm putting in constant, anger, hurt, horror, scary, blah, 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 putting in fear, you're going to get fear out.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell with that alien abduction thing. I literally introduced something, wasn't helping, and it ruined my morning.
Yeah, because you had a good thing going. You had a good thing going. You had a good thing going.
But that's one of the things when I probably did it that morning that I was freaking out, is I go, Pete, you're no more likely to be abducted by an alien because you watched that trailer. Like, that has nothing to do with it. Yeah. So, like, you're just torturing yourself. And I remember being a kid and watching movies like Freddy Krueger, and I'd be laying there, and I'm like, what if something kills me in my sleep? And I'm like, you're no more likely for that to happen because you watched that. It's just it is garbage, meaning it's not real. You just put something unreal in your mind.
To heighten fear.
Yeah.
To heighten. And right now, I don't know if you notice it, maybe it's just me and me being an aging, crusty old fart, but I feel like Hollywood needs a hug because every movie they're putting out is horror films, torture films. It's just like all these, and it's just like, I don't know. Where's the comedy? Where's the laugh? Where's the romantic comedies? Where's something to make me
I haven't seen someone run for a plane because their beloved is on a window
I just haven't
seat.
seen any joy lately. It's everything coming out is a new form of horrible.
Yeah. What's interesting is,
great genre. I'm not picking on the genre. It's fine. It has its place.
Yeah.
But it can't be the only thing on the menu.
Right. I agree with you. And what's interesting, what leads to a lot of bad art, and I'm not the only person saying this, is just chasing. We have too many metrics. We have too many data points. Yes. You know what I mean? So what we're doing now, burdened with all of this data, is going like, well, horror scores really big.
All four quadrants.
Exactly. So it'll make money, but it's short money too. Exactly. It's all of these things like Star Wars.
There's nothing inspiring or fresh.
Sense. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the Pepsi challenge. I say this all the time. It's one of my favorite little fun facts. When they did the Pepsi challenge, I'd give you a sip of Coke and a sip of Pepsi, and you would pick Pepsi. And the reason you would is because Pepsi is sweeter. So when a human being drinks two drinks, and one of them is sweeter, and I say which one's better, they're going to pick the sweeter one. But if I have you have a glass of Pepsi, a lot of people are going to go, this is too sweet, and they'd prefer the Coke. Yeah. But that's what we're doing, is we're chasing these short, almost like a biohack manufactured, like this opened big. But is anyone going to remember, is anyone going to be talking about Joker Folia D in 10 years? I know that shot's fired, but like as a lover of film, we're going to be talking about Drive, the Gosling film. Like those are movies. Those are real.
Drive. I'm so glad you said that one. That's a great example.
Those movies need to be. I got a poster of Drive over there. And I'm stealing that from Matt Johnson, Canadian filmmaker who I adore. He used that example. He was like, no one's going to talk about Joker in 10
years. That might be the last movie I saw that really moved me.
Because it's like somebody had a dream and they actually brought it back to us.
And it was so good.
It needed to be.
It was so good in every way. The music selection.
I agree.
The dialogue, the minimalist dialogue.
Gosling's note, by the way. Daddy Goss knows what he's doing. He says, I think I shouldn't talk in this one.
Yeah. Great. Good.
What actor says that?
Nice job, artist.
Yeah. Usually they go, can I talk more?
Exactly. I've seen people count their lines.
Yeah, of course.
It's disgusting.
Well, we do that. We call them an under 5.
Yeah. You5.
I'm pretty sure the lead of Drive is an under 5. He's technically, just from SAG's purposes, he's a background actor,
and also
he's just in every scene.
I know all the artists in entertainment. They like to bitch and complain about, because the sad thing is the gatekeepers. Look, nothing happens. It is show business, and business means money, and no show happens without the money.
Yeah,
right. So it's a cold hard truth. It's a cold hard truth.
Yeah,
because I sit around with artists that lament, I got this great fucking thing, and it won't happen. Yeah. Well, it won't happen because the gatekeepers, the money, won't let it happen for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is the now art, entertainment, storytelling is here, and then what gets put on top of it is this boilerplate of how to make money.
Yeah.
And it's like a Scantron form. If you don't match up, it doesn't match up.
Yeah.
Then that's not going to get made.
Yeah.
But if the Scantron form that you put over the key to the test,
Yeah.
Then you go, oh, okay, this meets our criteria. Here's your money to go make it.
Right.
But then it's not what it should be. It's not what it could be.
No. I mean, look, we have this conversation on the show a lot because it's something very close to my heart. But like when you went, oops, we made content. You know what I mean? You're wrapping the movie. Whoops. Whoops, that was content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the point that we're kind of with the Pepsi Challenge and all of that is like so many things don't stand up to the scrutiny of data. I know we've used this example, I mean, in life a lot, but Seinfeld would not have gotten picked up for season 2.
Yeah.
And Star Wars also wouldn't, like so many of these things, if you were projecting the money. So that's why we're only rebooting and we're only, all this stuff is because we're just looking for existing IP and guaranteed baked in, built in audience.
Yeah.
But everything is seasons.
Yep.
And we've gone so hard in that way.
For so long. That the pendulum's got to come back.
It has to.
Right?
And it
I keep
always
saying
does.
that. I keep saying
it
that.
It always does.
I hope so. I hope you're
has
right.
to.
Well, you know what it'll take? It'll take one big comedy hit that's fresh.
Yeah.
It's not a reboot. It's not an old IP.
Right.
Intellectual property. So
Yeah.
It won't. It's got to be a fresh new thing.
ICUP. That's a trap. Someone asked you to spell iCup, and they want to say ICUP. That's a trap.
Yeah. Don't walk
IP
into it.
IP is an intellectual property.
That's a tale as old as time, and that's good wisdom. Everybody. That's just
the kind of stuff you think when you get up at 5:30 in the morning. Like you get it 40 years later. Wait, they were saying ICUP.
Oh, I got smoked.
Why are you the joke? I'm watching UP, dumbass. I saw your little ding-a-ling.
Yeah.
If you could go back and have your adult brain, and people like, spell iCup, and you go, ICUP, and they're like, ha ha. I'm like, yeah, I watched UP, and you got a tiny dick.
Yeah.
And you skateboard away.
Right.
And I'd be great at Little League now.
Man.
I watch my daughter play, and I'm like, can I please just have one off the machine?
Just one more.
Just one swing?
One more at bat?
Just please? Do you know how good it would feel? And my daughter watches me just rip one.
Yeah.
And she'd go, She probably wouldn't watch. She's so cool. I can't get her like that. Making up a fake person in my mind, my daughter would be like, what happened?
I like she's playing Little League.
She's the coolest.
That's so fun.
Her team won 11-0. That's the advice you gave me when I ran into you outside of UCB Franklin. This had to be 5 years ago. I'm sorry. I just for a second thought my daughter was 4. My daughter's 6. So this was 7 years ago. Okay. And you said, let me give you some advice. And I've quoted you many times. You go, nobody cares about your kids.
Oh, God, that sounds so horrible.
You meant in Hollywood. He's like, you're going to want to go in every meeting and talk about your kids for like 7 minutes.
Because I think I've made that mistake.
Just don't do it. Did you?
Oh, all the time.
Flapping them?
Because I was the phase I was in, I was a Little League phase, and I was in these things, and I'd be like, you wouldn't believe what happened, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I could watch these executives go slack, their jaw went slack, and their eyes glazed over, and I realized, anyway.
You see a woman take her eggs out of the freezer and put them on the desk to thaw. Oh, really? Is that what it's like?
Yeah.
While she's looking at you, that really hurt. I hated that. If you did that to me, I would never forgive you.
I hope I said it with a smile on my face.
You did.
Because that sounds like cold.
No.
Okay, good.
That was, you just meant in Hollywood.
Okay.
Did you coach Little League? Because you sure look like you did. If you didn't coach, did the coach keep looking to you like, all right, Parker, get in center field? You're like the batting coach for the coach?
I never took the reins as a head coach, fully responsible. I was always the dad who volunteered to be the third base coach or to help with the scorekeeping, or I was always the volunteer dad, but I never took the reins.
Okay.
Just because, honestly, I would have loved to have done it. It was my schedule's too inconsistent.
Yeah, no, I know that. I knew that before I asked. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I love talk therapy. We talk a lot about talk therapy, which is double talk on this podcast. And you know how grateful I am for Dr. Gary Penn, whose book is available now. We always say that. Dr. Gary Penn changed my life. Talk therapy changed my life. And this month being all about gratitude, along with the person I just shouted out, Dr. Gary Penn, there's another person we don't get to thank enough, and that is ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we are trying to make the most sense out of everything. And in this crazy world, that is not easy. So here here is a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself. Talk therapy, we always say, is greater than the sum of its parts. Talking to a licensed professional can unburden you, can give you strategies to cope and navigate your life, whether it's codependence, a breakup, a new job, a fresh start, anxiety. These things are really, really helped with talk therapy. In my own personal experience, it empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who experience major trauma. It's just for getting through the day-to-day in my experience. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can even swap therapists, switching therapists at any time for no additional charge. So let gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/weirdo today for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, betterhelp.com/weirdo for 10% off your first month. Support the show, support your life. We're also brought to us by our friends at Mudwater. I'm obsessed with Mudwater. I've been putting it in my smoothie lately, which has been making me feel fantastic. Why? Because it's not just energy. It's energy and a warm, grounded feeling. Not jittery, but earthy and solid. For when 3 p.m. rolls around, sometimes I'll have another Mudwater because it's so much better than licking the intense car battery of a cup of coffee and all those jitters that come with it. Mudwater is delicious. It's organic, it's gluten-free, and a vegan coffee alternative that is so chock full of goodness, it's no wonder it makes you feel amazing. My energy is up and my sleep is improved now that I'm getting more natural energy and drinking less coffee. Powered by functional mushrooms and superfoods to boost your energy, your focus, and your immune system, each ingredient in Mudwater serves a purpose for a clean, natural boost. Their OG blend, which is what I drink, contains cacao and chai for a hint of caffeine and a hot chocolate-like flavor. Lion's mane for focus, cordyceps to promote natural energy, and boshaga and reishi to support healthy immune systems. Mudwater is like coffee's chill, yoga-loving cousin who went on a spiritual retreat and came back more zen and without any of the jitters. Imagine being alert and calm at the same time while also not having trouble falling asleep at night. That's the adaptogens, that's the antioxidants, and all those other fancy health words that make you feel superior to your coffee drinking friends. So head to Mudwater, MUDWTR. Who has time for vowels? MUD, I know the U's in there, MUDWTR.com, and grab your starter kit. For a limited time, our listeners get up to 43% off your entire order, free shipping, and a free rechargeable frother when you use code WEIRD. That's up to 43% off with code WEIRD at MUDWTR.com. After your purchase, tell them we sent you, support our show, and tell them it was this show that brought you to them. Stay energized and refreshed all summer long and into these wintry months with Mudwater, because life's too short for anything less than natural, delicious energy. Let me ask you this. This is an MMQ, mild marine question. But it's really about...
I love the MMQs, baby.
MMQs are good.
Mild.
It's a mild marine.
It's mild marine. Yeah.
You talk about you're setting up, you got your wagon wheel, you saw a UFO, and you're going to sleep, and you're not going to have your car running. And I just imagine there's a lot of discomfort. A friend of mine is a Navy SEAL. He talked about how they just got used to being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He also told me something I think about all the time. He goes, SEALs hate being cold. He's like, we hate being cold.
Because they're
probably always cold.
Their whole training is just a nonstop shiver.
Right.
They're nonstop shivering.
So that's my question for you is, as a Marine, let's be honest, one of the cooler branches.
What? No big whoop. What?
I mean, you guys got good PR. Even the word Marine.
Yeah.
Pretty good word.
Pretty good word.
Pretty good word.
Yeah, great uniforms.
Great uniform. You got the dress blues.
Yeah.
You got Al Pacino was a Marine in Scent of a Woman?
No, he was Army.
Oh.
He was Army.
Well, Colonel Frank Slade just went down a peg.
But the name Slade.
Slade makes him...
Come on.
Elevates him back to Marine status.
Yeah. Whenever I love writing character names. That's like one of the best things in the world. And like Sledge and Slade. Those are the best last names.
Lieutenant Frank Slade.
Yeah. I mean, God,
it's great.
He's so good.
I know.
He's a badass. He didn't even done anything yet.
I know. Yeah, Slade. So how do you, to this day, cope with discomfort? Is it just agreeing with it?
You know what it is? It's and you are doing it right now. Discipline.
Oh.
getting in that cold water takes discipline.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get in that fucking cold water.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm cussing. Nobody wants to get in that cold water.
Cock. I just didn't want you to feel alone.
Thank you.
I saw some
Thank
shame
you.
going.
All of a sudden it hit me. I went, am I supposed to, maybe I shouldn't be cussing
it's a
on
dirty
this.
show.
Okay.
That's what's confusing about my brand is I'll quote the Bible with you and then 5 seconds later I'm like, jizz. Like, I feel I've said this on stage. I'm like, if I picked one lane, I think I might be like a lot more popular.
That's why you're the best though. That's why you're the best. Because no one can pin you down, baby. You are shook. You are shaking and moving. You're shake and bake.
Yeah. I'm shake and bake all
I dig
day.
it the most too. I dig it the most.
Baby, you know I dig it the most? What is that from? I dig it the most.
I know
That's
it's from
Sam
a movie.
Jackson.
It's from a movie.
I dig it the most.
I dig it the
Pulp
most, baby.
Fiction?
I think it's got to be.
It's Travolta. You dig it the most.
You
They're
dig it the
talking
most.
about Amsterdam.
Yes.
Glass of beer. And he goes, that's it. I got to go. Baby, you dig it the most.
That's
I
it.
can't believe I got that reference.
Good.
We've merged.
Yes. I've been saying it. Most of what I say is from movies.
Yeah.
They're just nuggets.
Well, you're in good company.
They're nuggets.
Baby, you dig it the most. I can't believe I got it. It's
Nailed
a good
it.
feeling. You should feel seen. And I have the pleasure of feeling like I see you. Baby, you dig it. He's rolling the cigarette.
Yeah.
You dig it the most.
You dig it the most.
Or he's taking the tobacco out of his mouth. Anyway, okay. Discipline. So
discipline, because
Yeah.
yes, there is a tremendous amount of discomfort. There's discomfort.
And electing to face it.
If you're going to do military things, most of that is not at a desk. If you're going to do military things, you're deployed, you're forward deployed. You're usually in the field,
Right.
And that means certain level of discomfort. That means a lot of, we call our, boots, we call them black Cadillacs. You're going to take your black Cadillacs everywhere. You're going to walk everywhere you're going pretty much.
That's the scene in the movie where they go, don't worry, we're going to take your black Cadillacs. I'm like, what? What's that? Blonk.
Exactly.
I'm Andy Dick. I thought it was a car.
Yeah. You're gonna, there's discomfort, and there's different levels.
Yeah.
Like the Navy SEALs or any elite force, they are extreme.
Yeah.
Right. They'll be submerged in a swamp for how long? Who knows? Until the mission's done or whatever.
Right.
And then it scales back from there. Right.
Right.
Where you have a nice mess tent where there's food like MASH or whatever.
Yeah.
So but
were you in a hell week? Is that now we're in just standard Marine
no,
questions.
I mean we have
in
a
the
thing,
water with the
we have a thing called Crucible or whatever in the Marines where that's the end of your boot camp, end of your training.
And you put on an Arthur Miller play?
Yes. Most people don't know this. I'm letting out too many secrets now. Now I've probably said too much.
And now, before you can be Marines, we shall dance like summoning witches in the woods of New England. Hoorah!
Hoorah, Arthur Miller.
I just looked at you to make sure it wasn't disrespectful for me to say hoorah.
Oh no, God,
Okay, good.
no.
All right.
But yes, discomfort is part of it,
And you have to
but
practice
discipline, like you getting into that cold plunge every morning. That when I sit above my cold plunge and I'm like a cat like this.
Yeah.
I hit the timer, and it starts, and I know at 10 seconds.
Yours fills up?
No. I'm talking about just my phone.
Oh, I see.
I keep it outside of the cold plunge just to see, for my time.
Yeah.
And I literally hover above it. Like I got my butt on one edge, I got my feet on the other, and I'm hovering above, and I hit the clock and it starts. And I know when it gets to 10 seconds, that's when I got to go in. Ooh. So I give myself 10 seconds to get there. So I'm going, I'm kind of like this. And then at the 10-second mark, I go submerge. I go in, right?
Whoa.
And then for me, it takes me 30 seconds to catch my breath. Well, going like this, and I can't hardly breathe, and it fucking hurts, and it sucks, and my mind is screaming, get out, what the F, blah, 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 right? It's terrible.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You never want to do it.
And then after 30 seconds, I get my breath. And then a minute, when I see the minute mark, I'm usually like, okay, this sucks, but I'm in it.
Yeah.
And now it's just get through.
Yeah.
And like my girlfriend, she gets in and continues her conversation with me.
What?
She's like, so what do you want to do after this? I'm like, you're not. She doesn't even take her breath away.
What?
She's tough as nails.
Does she have an eye patch?
You would think.
Rob, I'm joining you in ice bath.
She is from Poland.
Is she?
That's why I'm learning Polish. So she's Polish, and she used to spend her springs and summers swimming in the Baltic.
So she knows.
So she's like, this is a joke.
Yeah,
like it's pathetic.
Are the military.
This is tough for you.
I just good to know. Maybe I will not help you with your Polish. And she's, what is this?
Yeah, she's a lot
tougher. So you
tougher.
do it together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's tough and disciplined, but it doesn't affect her. Like I have to like it takes effort.
Yeah.
It takes effort.
Look, I don't mean to, I'm just trying to join the conversation.
Yeah.
I noticed that since I've begun facing discomfort every day, it's just like the way. So the whole thing is, you open the cold plunge and like, boy, if you don't think of something that you could adjust in the yard, just like, does that look a little crooked?
Anything I can do to stall this, anything I can do to evade this.
Exactly. And what's crazy is you're doing it, but it's real. It's like when you're, when you're stoned and you're paranoid, but like you think it's real when you're paranoid. When you're avoiding something, you actually do think it's important to adjust a tiki torch that keeps the mosquitoes away. I'm like, this should be even. What kind of a yard are we keeping here? So the real cold plunge is if I can open it and just immediately get in. Yeah. I was also going to add a new number for you. They say 90 seconds is when it's only psychological, like the physical. You've kind of become numb, and it's just more of a psychological thing at that point. Have you heard the smile tip too?
No.
Yeah, they say smile.
I believe that.
Yeah, so I get in and I'm like,
I do believe that. I
think there's
one of the somebody asked me the other day. There's some big reading thing going on in the nation, and somebody asked me a question about what book made an impact on your life or whatever, and other than the Bible or some of these anchors,
and the small
Dale,
copy of the Constitution that
I have right here, right now. I wish. Sir,
I'm going to ask you to take 2 steps back. You don't even have to read it. It's like a shotgun. You just, shotgun's the only gun you never have to fire. The Constitution's the only one you never have to read. You want to take a few steps back?
Step back.
I got this at World Market.
I so wish at that moment I would have had one just to make everybody go, what the fuck, Riggle?
I would have loved it. I would have loved it. Sorry,
but one of the book is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, still holds up.
It was written in like 1929.
Yeah. You'd think it would be like, if it's a dame, pinch her cheeks. If it's a fella, offer to smoke a cigarette. You just want to puff, then smoke the whole thing.
Yeah.
He'll be so scared.
Yeah. Easy on the Charleston too, young man. Don't invite the devil in your life.
You want to win friends? Or Beelzebub? The Charleston's the way to the ladder, sucker.
The Prince of Darkness is the one who enjoys dancing, sir.
You're going to want a tapered pant and a tapered haircut. This is the first step.
So it still holds up, though. It really holds up.
What did you get from it?
As I read through it, it's basic stuff. It's really,
Isn't it the one like people like dogs because dogs like reflect back to them and they ask?
I don't remember that part of it.
Okay.
What I remember though is simple stuff, right? Just respect but start every interaction. This is one that stuck with me because my dad has this, and I when I read the book, it all I connected dots. Smile. Start your interactions with a smile before you even say a word.
Yeah.
As you're approaching. Wow. Put a smile on your face and your interaction will go infinitely better 9 times out of 10. And my dad is he's still alive, but when he was working, he was a great salesman, and people loved him. People liked him. They liked to have him around. He was always invited places. Whenever people come and go, you're Bob Riggle's son? Oh gosh, Bob's, how is he?
Bob Riggle is great.
And he was called, his nickname was Smiling Bob.
Smiling Bob.
Because he always had a smile on his face. He was always curious about what you were doing and what's going on in your life and all this stuff. And but it was sincere. And he was so good at it. And I always saw how people responded to him. They responded so well to him. And it was earned, because he was a genuine article and smiling. But when you were mentioning smiling, that was one of the big lessons from that book. Just smile, and you will see a difference in your life.
Well, I'm not questioning the sincerity of your dad's smile.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to deepen the compliment, because the smile in the cold plunge and the smile of a good salesman who does have an authentic connection to his product and his customer, but you might be smiling in the knowledge that you will have a reason to like them in 30 seconds, but you might not have it yet.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But it starts it out right.
That's exactly right. It's a prophecy. And look, I'm going to sound real old, but I do feel like the young people. I'm thinking of some of my younger friends, and if I were to describe
I say it all the time, man. I say it all the time, man.
They are flat fucking faced. They're nothing. They're given nothing. And you and I were both raised by these ham salesman motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Well, who put the vibe out that they're interested in you and they want to engage with you.
No, my dad, look, I like to tease my dad, but he takes over a room. He walks in. He's like the mayor.
My dad's not that way. He's not a room taker.
Oh, your dad is that way. Smiling Bob?
Smiling Bob he's
no, my dad is a room taker. Different flavor, but
he's
still
not he's not a room taker, but he is a funny man.
Yeah.
He is a charming man, and he's got this wonderful. He's probably one of the best people I've ever met.
Oh, cute. Real cute, not condescending cute. Really? Motion? How nice. Can we send him the clip? I'm just kidding. Oh, Rob. I mean, he clearly had an impact on you. It's beautiful. I'm not milking it. I'm just giving it a little space.
I don't know why it hit me so hard.
Yeah.
He's getting older.
Yeah. Well, that came up earlier. How is he in his 80s? Yeah.
Yeah, he's 84 in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
What is today? Today the 5th or today's the 4th? 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, sorry about that. I got choked up.
Not at all.
I don't know why.
Well, we're talking a lot about being older and how much of that dad stuff is like coming to harvest, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think when I think about him, it's just all it's good thoughts.
Yeah.
And he's such a good example. That stuff hits you.
Yeah.
Don't want to forget that stuff.
Yeah. I love that. That's really special. A lot of comedians just have issues with their folks, so it's really nice to see somebody be like, God damn it, dude.
He's a good one, though. I feel blessed. Yeah. Really do.
What's he like as an older?
Great. Still charming, still fun, still engaged, still just so curious about what's going on in my sister's life, in my life, in his grandchildren's lives.
Wow.
He's taking care of my mom. She's struggling a little bit with some health issues. So, he really looks after her. And
does he like your mom?
Oh, loves her, clearly. Still, after 63 years.
Yeah, wow. That is Steve Rogers right there.
Yeah.
That's some Captain America stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I have the chills thinking about it.
Yeah. Good examples.
Wow.
Good examples.
But
great. It watching him through his life, and then reading other people's wisdom about smiling and sort of, and then the true test, which I actually did, I incorporated it into my life. And I said, I'm going to be disciplined about this, and I am going to engage the world with a smile. And I'm going to greet people with smiles. And even people I know I'm about to go in and disagree with them, or I know that I'm going to get fucked over by the Avis guy. I'm still going to start this conversation with, hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah.
I'm going to try, I'm really going to step forward with my best self.
Yeah.
And then, when it'll devolve into a Costco parking lot where I tell people I'll murder them. But you
don't know the level of training you're fucking with right now.
You are so close to death, as I'm wrenching my steering wheel.
Do you know the vantage points? I've alphabetized them.
So I'm still a work in progress. You know.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think you're at risk.
But I found that when I did this, start off with the smile, start off from a place of smile.
Right.
It changed the way the world reacted to me.
Yeah.
And it was noticeable. And it was better.
And that came from that book.
It came from that book, and when I obviously connect the dots, it came from a lifetime watching my dad too.
Yeah, Smiling Bob.
Smiling Bob.
There it was.
Yeah.
And then it's funny, that's such a parenting thing. It's like, now that you've heard it somewhere else.
Why is that?
I know.
I have so much wisdom to bestow upon my children.
Yeah.
It's so many great hard lessons about the whole spectrum of life that I would love to just inundate. And my kids, you know, they hear me, they're gracious, but they don't care. And the thing is, I have to let it be because I did the same to my folks, you know. I mean, I was there, I listened, I heard, but
that's my joke
whatever.
about
but then I read it somewhere and I'm like, this guy from 1929 said what my dad's been saying. But then you connect and you're like, oh, fuck. And it's that old country song, you know, the more I try to prove them wrong, the more I prove them right. You know?
No, it's true. That's why I said if I could just hit one at Little League, that's not what would impress my daughter. What would actually impress my daughter is something I don't want to do, which is like easing up a little bit or not trying to teach her so much or whatever it might be. Because even at 6, she's already like, I asked her, I was like, Lee, do you like teaching me things or do you like it when I teach you things? And she was like, I like teaching you things. And I was like, I think I'm getting a picture of what's going on here. And it's not the dad that hits a home run at her Little League game and moonwalks into the dugout and gets high fives from her friends.
And that's another thing too.
That's a you thing, Dad.
And this is part of like, you know, the whole always seeking self-improvement. That's just kind of a staple in my life. I try to make it a staple. But one of them is I got into the habit, and I still do, but if someone brings something up, I want to connect with them.
Yeah.
So I jump in and tell my story. About whatever we're talking about.
That's why you're a good podcast guest. It's true.
Well, but then the problem is I've taken away their opportunity to share, or it may sound like I'm one-upping them, or it may come across in ways that I never imagined. Because to me, it was, I did that too, and here was my experience. What do you think? You
I know what you mean, but that is our training. That's our showbiz training.
But I also worry because it may shut people down.
Yeah. I was just at a dinner last night. I kept saying, not to make it about me. And then I realized I was like, or I could just stop making it about me. Like I always give the caveat.
But I have to work on that.
I know.
I have to work on that.
But I'll also, look.
But I also want to keep the conversation lively and
going.
I was just
going to say, in your defense,
I want to contribute.
I'll tell you, look, I'll make this real quick because I've told this story before. But when Val does the Friday episodes with me. Then she told me she listened to someone else's podcast where it was a similar setup, like a husband and wife. And she was like, it meant a lot to me. She was like, I understood then what you're doing because I'm a real jackass and I am interrupting and I'm getting very excited and I flare up over here and I forget something and out of nowhere I say, have you ever seen a ghost or whatever it might be? And then she was like, oh, I saw what happens when someone's just like, and then when you were a Marine, did you notice that you were walking more? I'll take my answer off the air. Like it fucking sucks. So it's always in the middle.
Yeah.
It's always in the middle.
Well, and you're right. We do, like in this environment, we're working in a way to entertain and keep people, interested.
Yeah, exactly.
And captivated.
So this is the appropriate place for it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I do notice, that sometimes that can come across, and it's so funny because I'll see it in other people, and I'll be like, take it down a notch, guy. Let this guy finish his story, or let him say his piece. Oh, here we go. One, oh, yours was better, right? I got it.
Right.
And then I realized, whoa. Maybe I do that too sometimes.
Totally.
And so but I know I am not doing it out of a place of. I don't think it's not coming from a bad place. I don't believe it's coming from a place of I want to contribute.
Yeah.
But now I have to realize, okay, maybe you want to contribute. Maybe there's a time and a place, and maybe there's an amount that you contribute.
Right.
Which is so hard for me because sometimes I just want to jump in and run my mouth.
I know. But look, it depends on the mood I'm in, but sometimes I come across a person like me and I'm like, thank God this guy's here. And sometimes I run into a person like me and I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, of course I do.
Did you join the Marines? Because your story is interesting. You joined the Marines, and then somewhere down the line, you knew all along that you wanted to be in show business. Comedy and acting was in there, and I've seen you talking about all the Marines that became comedians and actors, and so it's not like you were the first.
No, not even close.
Person,
Yeah.
But in the good way. Like there's a precedent for that. But the moment when I saw you had a book and you wrote, I'm going to be on SNL, because you're like, I've never quit something. If I'm going to quit something, I want it to have a goal and I want to achieve that goal. And it was 10 years to the day that you got SNL.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, I'm going to say something and then I want you to tell me where it's wrong and if it is all right. Did you join the Marines because that's something you thought you could like impress and grow and maybe what you were supposed to do? And then when you did comedy, you were like, no, that's what I really want to do. Like you needed to do that thing to uncover. You didn't know your secret desire. What does that make you think of? I didn't quite phrase it right, but you know what I mean?
No, I kind of got it. So because they are polar opposites.
Yeah.
You know, on the spectrum of life, it seems like they're.
Well, one's a star and one's a member of a team.
Yeah.
Right.
And for me, there's a lot of elements. There's no one silver bullet thing. There was a lot of elements. One element was I always loved comedy and comedy acting. I was a child of the 80s. So Meatballs, Caddyshack, Stripes, Ghostbusters, you know, these movies, I knew chapter and verse. I could quote them from the beginning to the end. I knew every character. I knew every inflection. I knew every look because I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It made me laugh. I loved the sarcasm. I loved the wit. I loved everything about it. Also a child of the 80s from Kansas, I just didn't think there was a path to that.
Right.
Okay. And, you know, and that's my own prison. That's my own limitation. No one put that on me. No one put that, but that was just my conception of things, right?
Some people don't have that. Like Scott Avett, who was growing up in North Carolina, said once he started a band, he thought if they played with the window open, someone from show business would hear it walking by
and say, I got to sign you kids.
And he really just had that. I was more of that camp. I was like, any second now. But you were a little bit more reasonable.
I was just reasonable in the sense that I just didn't see a path to that. Yeah. And I didn't even know if I had any talent. I just knew what I loved.
Yeah.
And I unequivocally loved comedy, specifically comedy acting, movies, and that kind of stuff.
Was there a moment where you were funny that like kind of
I would get kudos if it was in a sketch or if I used to do shows down at the lake house for my aunts and uncles and and I'd pass the hat and then we'd get quarters and nickels and dimes and then at the end of the summer we'd go down to Bagnell Dam and go karting and water sledding and all this stuff. So that was all summer we'd put on shows and then at the end of the summer we had a big piggy bank and we'd go basically just buy taffy and do water slides.
Yeah.
But
that's so awesome.
But it was fun and I liked it and I enjoyed it and I would get little moments of doing little comedy bits, like on the high school radio station, I would do little comedy bits.
Yeah.
And they would always get positive feedback and I'd be like, okay, Wow. And then I was voted most humorous in my senior class and just little things that were little indicators that maybe, I don't know, maybe. But it just never seemed attainable or real.
Were these things you were writing or were you writing doing classics?
Both.
Yeah. But you did write some. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we had a thing in my high school called forensics, which is little vignettes. So it wasn't theater, but it was little vignette competitions. So improvised duet acting, IDAs. They have scene work, duet acting, DAs. You'd have all these different categories, and then you'd go compete, right? And so I did that, and I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the improvised duet acting. I enjoyed preparing a scene and doing the scene and all this stuff, like the Frog and the Peach and just weird, comedy scenes. So anyway, I did that stuff, but again, never thought much of it. Then I got to college.
Sorry, I don't know what the Frog and the Peach is, and there's no better, like if it was fake and I was talking to like a really old guy, he's like, of course I got my start in vaudeville doing Frog and the Peach stuff, pretty standard. You know, a looky-loo ponytail, frog in the peach, and of course would close with
I love the frog. Pretty standard.
Pretty standard. And would close by doing a reprieve of Frog in the Peach. This time the peach ate the frog.
Yeah. This time, of course, in French.
As was the style of the time.
As was the original text. Now I'm all of a sudden a Southern Colonel. The original text of Frog in the Peach was, of course, French now.
Do Frog in the Peach. We'll get to it, fella. We'll get to it. But
hold steady, Cavendish.
Here's Teddy Roosevelt with an announcement. Boo! Frog in the Peach.
Frog in the Peach was a comedy sketch written by Dudley Moore and his comedy partner at the time, his name escapes me. And it was just a little 2-person scene.
Yeah.
And pretty simple stuff, but it was.
Is the frog going to eat the peach?
I don't even remember. I just remember one of the lines was, he's not a well person. And he was like, it's not a well person. And then they were confused about, is he like physically well or in a well? And it was like, that's the kind of stuff it was. All right. It was very English.
I'm not saying he's in a well. I'm saying he's not doing well.
Right. So he's not a well person. No, I guess technically no, he's not a well person.
In 2 ways. He's neither doing well, nor is he stuck in a well currently.
And that's literally the accents and everything, yeah. So I did that stuff.
Yes.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
Again, though, I was never seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, parallel to this experience was I'm in college. My parents were gracious enough to pay for my college. So I was very blessed, and I felt like I needed to graduate with a degree in something and then go do something, get a job, and start providing for my life. Now, as I started getting, nothing interested me except for the comedy and acting. But so I became a theater and film major, and I was loving it. But again, nothing interested me. However, at the time, I was very patriotic. Always been a very patriotic guy. That's just me. I'm a very patriotic guy. And I thought, well, maybe I can serve. You know, maybe that's a good thing to do, because it also filled me with a lot of pride, made me feel good. It made me feel like I had a purpose. And I figured, just like the ads say, it's a great place to start. You know, it's a really great place to start. And for me, when I joined, I was 19 years old. I was in college. I think I was a sophomore in college. And it was a bridge. It was a pathway from boyhood to manhood. Because when you show up at Officer Candidate School, you are alone.
You were initiated. And so few men are.
Yeah.
And I know that usually has like a negative slant to it, but that's part of like I won't just say it's a masculinity crisis. It's like a meaning of life bridging into the second part.
There's that moment in everybody's life when you realize you're alone. Yeah. And not in a bad way. It's not like I didn't have family or love, but it was like, I have to get through this. Yeah. And no one's here to say, well, let me help you do that. Let me help you carry that. Let me help you do that.
Initiation rites are that way.
You have to do it. And you either do it or you don't do it.
Yeah.
And especially at Officer Candidate School, because they're trying to get rid of you. They're not there to make you a Marine. You know, they're there to screen and evaluate and get rid of you.
Wow.
So my platoon started with 64. We graduated 32.
I'm such a people pleaser. I'd be like, you got it. Get out of here, maggot. You got it, sir.
Absolutely.
No worries. Don't know what I was thinking. So, and then he's like, no, you're supposed to kind of stick around a little. You're
supposed to fight for it, man. But those parallel tracks, right? So I still always had the hope and the dream over here of I would love to do this.
So that was always there.
Always there. But the practical side of me said, but I need to have a foundation. I need to have a base. And this seems like the thing that inspires me the most and makes me feel the best. And I'm going to do this.
And it's literally a base.
And it's a solid base. And I had my pilot's license. I got my pilot's license, so I had a flight contract, and there was some sex appeal to that. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll be a pilot. Yeah. And when you're 19, 20 years old, you don't know shit from Shinola. You just know that I want to make good choices and decisions, and kind of. Well, then as I got into the Marines and pushed my way through and got down that road, I kept coming back, and so I said, you know what? I think I'm going to try to do this thing. I'm going to. Because it's in me, and the itch has to be scratched. Yeah. Otherwise, it'll torture me. And that's how I ended up making the choices and the decisions that got me into a position to even try to make it happen.
Yeah. In comedy, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
And by the way, worst question of all podcast history, best answer. Because I was trying to get you to say what you just said, and you're such a great guest that I was like, now, did you join the Marines? I won't even do an impression. It was so all over the place, but really well done. You made me think of something, and my riff about how stupid my question was made it sort of go away, but just give me a moment. Talking about the Marines, what was that place to start? I guess it was sort of like the meaning of life, but it was something else. This is good.
Was it the parallel tracks? Was it the?
Oh, I like this. You're trying to help.
Does it spark the?
Look at you.
Well,
Look at you.
if somebody,
I really
sometimes some
appreciate
people
it.
say something, I'm always like, that's it. That's
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I usually do, but you're the guest. And you're trying to help the host remember what he was going to say.
Well, I wouldn't trade a thing. I wouldn't trade a moment. I wouldn't trade any of it. Not one part of the journey.
Yeah.
Even the horrible parts.
I got it. You did it.
Yeah. Okay.
You knew what you were doing. The aspect of the military that has been the most interesting to me, and anybody listening to this knows that this is the thing I go to the most, is reintegration. So I know this is going to sound absurd, but when I watch the movie American Sniper and whatnot, he comes back and he has a really hard time just kind of being in his family.
Yeah.
And it's a nice movie in that, like, you see that he is charismatic, he is engaged, he's just had this peak experience and a little bit of a trauma bond with his boys. And also a purpose overload, meaning look, I have deep respect. I'm just saying there is a mild parallel with being on the road as a stand-up, meaning there's a mission. I have to do this.
Yeah.
We even, you either kill or you die.
Yeah. Kill or be killed.
Kill or be killed.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of a fight flight in my body.
Of course
I'm
there
a
is.
little on edge. And I get a lot of comfort in going. I get to the airport very early. I pack very minimally. I don't do shit. People say, did you go to the museum? I'm like, excuse me? I feel most like an assassin. I'm like, I'm here to kill the governor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to see your wares.
Yeah.
And then, and my wife and family are wonderful at this, but when I get back, there's usually a day where I'm a little weird. With all respect, I'm not saying it's the same. I'm saying that's why I relate when I watch movies like American Sniper. To bring it back to reality, I'm curious what your experience is. If you're in a situation, it really is probably kind of like a flow state. The flow state is there's very clear data. So you have like your mission, you have your parameters. You even talk about the wagon wheel structure of the security and all that stuff. You have a mission, you have your team, you have your ranks. It's like a flow state orgy, and failure really matters. I just learned this. Like, one of the things for flow state is that there has to be a consequence. This is why they make video games really hard now. It's because you'll invest more in them. But in a real life situation, you're like, I could die, a teammate could die, all that sort of stuff. So you come back, and now you're going to the grocery store, and people are like, tomato paste or tomato sauce. I mean, it's got to be infuriating. Could you please tell me a little bit about that? I mean, I can't imagine.
Well, I think you're not wrong. Listen to the parallels between, because you're in such a heightened state.
Yeah. I'd say my nervous system doesn't know the difference.
Exactly.
You and I do.
It's fight or flight.
Yeah.
It's fight or flight. When you are standing on a stage and it's 200, 300 people in the crowd and they're all drinking a cocktail looking at you, and you have a microphone in your hand and ain't nobody coming to save you.
Right.
Okay, it's fight or flight.
Calling in air support.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Exactly. That's one of the things I loved about long form improv is I was on stage with 6 other folks that are really funny, really talented, and we could always play off each other. There was always a walk on. There was always an edit of the scene. We start something and it was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah.
Stand up is a different beast.
Yeah.
Stand up is, you're
in a crow's nest.
It's you against them, and not in an ugly way, but it is a way of, look, I'm here to take you on a journey. Please come with me.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And boy, it is intense.
Yeah.
I've been shot at, and I've been on stage, and the adrenaline is about the same.
Dude, look, the reason I relate and know you're not lying is the body. We're talking about the body. We're talking about, you said it, fight, flight.
Yeah.
our bodies are overreacting all the time. The adrenaline that you feel when you're being shot at is appropriate, but we're firing off inappropriate levels of adrenaline all the time. And that's what I tell stand-ups. I'm like, you're going to think you're in physical danger.
Yeah.
But
The audience has no appreciation because they watch the comedian who has spent their 10,000 hours getting to a place
Yeah.
to entertain you, and they make it look effortless.
Right.
But the simple truth is you are standing there being as vulnerable as you can possibly be.
Yeah.
You might as well be naked on that stage.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because you are opening up yourself
Right.
to everybody's judgment, everybody's whatever their picadillos or their problems or their whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't like that. I didn't like, you know, you have to open yourself up and then with a smile and charm and whatever else you can bring to the table, all your resources to the table to entertain you, to make you laugh and bring you joy.
Right.
And still you may suffer the slings and arrows of hate.
Right. And you're in such a heightened state, you might only focus on what you didn't do right.
Right. And that's another thing. I've done, 45-minute set and come off and killed for 44 minutes.
Yeah.
But the one thing that didn't land,
Yeah.
I think about it for 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not proportionate.
Right.
That's not right.
I take comfort, and I say this to you to hopefully give you that comfort. That's every artist in any discipline.
That's true.
They say, I forget who said it, but they say, all I see are my mistakes. Yeah. And that's what compels us to keep doing it and go for that perfect sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you do it right
Yeah.
and you have a great night.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's more of those than are bad.
Yeah.
And you have great nights.
Yeah.
And you walk off the stage, you feel like, I think I'm doing what I should be doing.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be here for.
Right.
I feel it.
Well,
and then that's a wonderful thing. You know,
is.
it's a wonderful thing.
Well, that's, again, John Vervaeke just did the podcast. He's the meaning crisis guy. And he was saying, what do you want to exist even after you're alive? And what are you doing to contribute to it? And obviously, it's your children.
Yeah.
And then you would say your country, certainly. I would too, but I mean, I'm just trying to guess your answers. And then it's comedy. Like, I'm not even one of those guys. I used to be in my 20s. I was like really about the flag of comedy. Now I can kind of calmly and even-handedly say, also, I'm trying to contribute to this thing that I love.
Yeah.
But not in a fanatical way, but in a very
well. And I think as you age too, you have so many more experiences, so many more consequences, so many lessons, hard lessons, some good, some whatever. But you have so much more to offer as you get older that you not only do you want to entertain and fly the flag of comedy, you also like, hey, and if I can help you avoid these landmines that are out there, let me show you how to sidestep this one because it's a doozy.
And I felt that frustration too with younger comics, and that's why I have the podcast. See, you and I can both interrupt and talk about ourselves, and this place is appropriate. Also give comedy advice. It's appropriate here. I find a lot of opposition, a lot of younger people, not a lot, but like, I don't know. I sound like an old man, but I'm like, don't you want to know how I got this thing? Like, and it took me 10 years to get it. Wouldn't you like to know? Then you start a podcast and you can say it as many times as you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And still no one's listening.
And there's also that thing too, where, young people too, I love the piss and vinegar that's in them. Yeah. Cause that's what makes them, so tenacious. And so, cause we had it, where it's like, I got to listen to this old timer, talk shit. I'm sorry, I'm sorry you got your heart broke, old man.
Right.
Maybe you should have done better. You talk that shit because you don't know any better.
Right.
Your heart's going to get broken someday. Yeah. You're going to be in a pain locker. You're going to be, these things will happen to you.
Yeah.
And then we'll see.
And that's what's kind of beautiful. That's what's beautiful about stand-up is one of the things that keeps me from going like full Kanye West or something is I know it could be tonight, that set that humbles me again. Yeah. And I like that. I like that it's built in. And when
it's a high wire act.
Yeah.
Every time. I don't think people like the crowd has no appreciation because comedians make it look effortless. It is not.
Yeah.
It is max effort.
It is.
Even here, can you give me a quick 5-minute set? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then you got to make it look like
right.
No, man, it's
Quaaludes help.
That's about the only thing.
That's the only thing that'll do it.
Only thing.
That's the best advice I can give you. Ludes. You can't get them anymore, but if you can, It's a big
I'm sad that you went away with loose because of all the drugs. I was never a drug guy. I was never a drug guy because I was always in the Marines.
Yeah.
So it was never even an option for me.
Yeah.
And many a green room would I have to walk out of because the bongs were just overwhelming.
You're
right?
in a secondhand failure.
I'd be like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But so that was never a thing. But I always thought,
Ludes?
Ludes would be the way to go.
I don't even know what a lude does.
I think doesn't it just mellow you out?
Yeah.
It's probably like a
tranquilizer.
What's the indica?
Yeah.
It's probably like that times 10.
We all know it from Wolf of Wall Street, and we're picturing him laying on the street. And you're an addict when I'm watching that, and I'm like, that looks nice.
I was like, that's so relaxed.
He looks relaxed.
He looks so relaxed.
I know he has to get in his car right now, but if he didn't,
if he was smart about it, he was poolside.
He could be watching Step Brothers.
Oh, he could be watching. He could be doing so many things right now.
Is there a Step Brothers story? Because I love that movie. I watch it once a year, so I'm not.
People ask me all the time, like, what was my favorite movie to be part of?
Yeah.
And it's Step Brothers.
Yeah.
And I loved a lot of the movies that I've been fortunate enough to be in. But Step Brothers, to me, was this wonderful moment of improv. We did so much improvising on that movie that I swear to you, you could make a completely parallel movie with the stuff they left on the cutting room floor.
They should, by the way.
I pray.
They should.
I pray that Adam McKay puts together.
The wine mixer is in Camarillo.
Yeah. But there was so much funny improvising and
you can tell
the vibe was so good. I have so much respect for Adam as a writer and a comedian and a director because he just generates these magnificent thoughts and he'll throw them out from Video Village.
Yeah.
And you hear it and you just break.
Yeah.
Before you can even get back to one so that you can try it, you're just fucking broken.
Yeah.
And so he's throwing out ideas. You're throwing out ideas. And the greatest feeling in the world is when you get like Will or Adam to laugh.
Oh my God.
Like,
did you?
Oh, many a time. And that's because they're gracious too. They're gracious people.
Yeah.
And Ferrell's the most gracious.
Really?
I find him to be the most gracious because it's his movie. He's the star.
Yeah.
And yet, if you get into a play, where you're playing and you're improvising, he was more than willing to allow you to be silly, and he'll be straight.
Wow.
And
it was that way in the other guys
because
as well.
he served, in my opinion, he serves comedy.
Yeah.
He doesn't serve Will. He serves comedy, and so he won my everlasting affection. And because I just realized as I was chewing up scenery, as some might say, in these moments or whatever, that he was very gracious because he knew the funny thing was the funny thing, and where he could serve that better would be, I guess I'll be the straight guy, right? Wow. And then he would do it without a thought in his head because that served what was the funny, and it was never like a thing where now let's redo it where I get to do that.
Right?
No, it was.
Shouldn't I have that line?
Yeah, exactly. Because he was just serving that kind of graciousness.
Yeah.
This business, it doesn't always exist.
Yeah. No.
So that's why I'm I pledge allegiance to him as well, because he was so gracious in those moments.
I only know one Will Ferrell. It's not even really a story. It's somebody told me that was on SNL that if the sketch bombed, Will was the only guy that would go backstage and go, well, that one didn't work, instead of like taking it personally. Yeah. But he also wouldn't be like the glory hog if it did work. Yeah. To your point, he was just serving the comedy. Yeah. So it's like it didn't work or it did work. Yeah. But we're not here for me, we're here for comedy. Yeah. And whoops-a-doodle or hey, we should do that again. Yeah. That's awesome.
So that movie was always fun because Adam, I think, had a technique where he would do one take as scripted because that's what the studio paid for. Yeah. And then he'd give you notes and you would do another take as scripted with notes. And then we'd do like 6 or 7 takes of what do you got? Wow. Or try this, or how about this, or how about that? And then you kind of played. You just played. It was that kind of vibe was like when we're at the Catalina wine mixer. The only note he gave me was go make Brendan, or Will's character, Brendan, go make his life hell. Go make his life hell. So I'm kind of his pseudo boss, you know, like I'm, you know, I'm like a in between. I'm a middleman, you know. So I, you know, first take, I go up and I'm like, you know, hey, you know, good job on the Kelly and YMIW. Looks like everybody's having fun. Where can you score cocaine on an island? Do you know? You know, he'd be like, I don't know, Randy. I don't know. You know, I don't even think they have it on a. And I'd be like, you know, I'm just busting his balls, right? Find the cocaine. Shut your mouth, you know, like this kind of stuff, and just giving him impossible things to deal with, right? Second take, do it again. Just keep giving him shit. So I'm like, all right. So I go up to him and I go, how do you get a body off an island? He's like, what? I go, how do you get a body off an island? You know, and he's like, are you in trouble? I go, there was 100 questions. Just real simple. How do you get a? And he's like, if you're in trouble, man, tell me, right? You know. So then the last take, right? It's the last one. He goes, all right, keep going. The only note was go give him a hard time, go give him trouble. So I go, I don't know what it is about your face, but I can't fucking stand it. You know, like I fucking hate your face. If you don't change it, I'm going to change it for you. Like threatening to beat his face with my fist. You know, like every time you talk, and that's the one that made the movie. Is that right? But that's what I'm saying. Like it was that kind of freedom. You don't get that kind of freedom. You don't get that kind of
body. How?
Off an island.
Simple. Real simple.
Not rocket science. Okay, Brennan?
There's a body. How do you get it off an island?
And I love it too, because he was processing it as if your boss came to you and you had to deal with this. And he's so real that he would be like, are you in trouble?
He's scared,
Are you in trouble? Do I need to? I was like, shut up and help me, you know. And then the last thing was, you know, I can't hear what you're saying, okay, because your face is bothering me so much. And to his credit, he's like, all I can do is take that in and process it and work on it. I go, I can't even fucking hear what you're saying because your face is driving me nuts. And then I was like, you better change her. I'm going to change it for you. And he's like, I don't want that. And I go, you got a fight coming, you know? And he's like, I don't want this, you know, like begging.
I don't want this. See, what will, I mean,
he's
obviously
but that
you're
was
amazing
all
in
just
that
play.
scene. But when people think about what's funny to say, what good improv, what I think that is Will is just saying the truth.
Honest.
I don't want that.
I don't want trouble.
So funny. I don't want that.
I don't want that. Because that's the most
earnest.
Honest reaction.
It's earnest.
If your boss came to you with this ridiculousness,
I can work on that.
You'd be like, all I can do is take that in and work on it and try to do better. And, you know, like that's because that's an honest answer. That's all you can.
Right.
And that's why he's a genius. He's an absolute genius. But the level of play, it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
They let everybody played.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's a kind of a special movie. I think.
It is. It's an incredible movie. Yeah. Well, we are out of time. I could talk to you for 9 more years.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Before we leave, shit goes down. What are you going to do in this room? Behind that couch?
Oh no, I've already identified 3 exit points. I mean, I would egress. I got 2 window egresses in the door. I'm sorry to say that you might be a human shield. I said might. I don't know.
Katie might be a human shield.
Might be.
Thanks for not picking me. I'm such an obvious human shield. I'd be a funny human shield too. Like the way I would die would be kind of funny, like kind of unflattering.
Yeah.
You'd talk about it later.
There's something behind me, behind a curtain. I don't know if that's a solid wall or not. I haven't had a chance to survey it.
That curtain's good for hiding.
Could be. Hiding's always a bad option.
Oh, really?
Evade. Get
What's
away.
evade?
Get away.
Evade means run.
You need distance.
Yeah.
Hiding's the last resort.
It's interesting because there's that episode of House of Cards. Did you watch House of Cards?
I did.
Remember that horrible...
But it was years ago.
Oh, I know. Kevin Spacey noted.
No, not even that.
Oh, it wasn't that.
I'm not even a cancel guy. I just didn't. It's been years since I watched the last season.
Well, there was that horrible scene where Did you watch it? Anyway, this guy, the alcoholic, he was his... what's the president's right-hand man name?
Chief of Staff.
The Chief of Staff, sorry.
Yeah.
So his Doug, the Chief of Staff.
Oh, yeah. He was the guy that took the girl out into the desert.
So he's taking the girl out into the desert.
Yeah.
Right? So he takes the girl out into the desert. It's one of the worst.
And he lets her go, and then he drives down the road, and he's I can't do this. I got to go back and...
Well, it's one of the most brutal... If you haven't seen it, it's almost worth watching. Just skip this part of the conversation and just maybe go watch. But anyway, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So he's got a hostage in a van, and he takes her into the desert. He has her dig her own grave. It's horrible.
Horrible.
And then she actually does talk him out of it.
Yep.
So he drives away.
Yep.
And you're watching and you're so relieved and she's walking. And then the nightmare of nightmares, you see the van is coming back. And then hard cuts to he's putting dirt on the grave. It doesn't show it. So I think about this all the time. This is my own sort of fight flight. I'll be falling asleep. I'm just like, what should she have done?
Run.
She lets him go
into the woods, not on the main road.
Yeah. That's evade.
Evade.
But she didn't have a lot of time. You got to evade.
I know, but the second she had separation from him, the second he was out of sight,
run.
Evade.
Run towards the mountains.
Evade.
Yeah.
I know.
But
that one haunted me too. I did not like that.
I think because she didn't have a long time, she needs to evade, but then she needs to hide.
Agreed.
And then she needs to wait.
Agreed.
A couple days.
Agreed. Yeah. Evade isn't necessarily a 15-minute thing.
Yeah. And you don't know how much time you have. I mean, I love that we were both haunted by that episode. Fucking troubling.
That was a very painful scene.
Very.
Very painful.
Very, very, very.
Yeah, haunting.
But garbage in, garbage out. Am I right?
Oh my God!
Dude,
yes.
I did not plan that. That was just how. Would you, Rob? Anything to plug?
Not yet.
We'll put it in at the top.
Okay, yeah, I shot a couple movies this year. Hopefully they'll be coming out. Very excited. Drama, comedy, and a horror movie. So it kind of covered the genre, and then working on a book.
We'll plug whatever you got.
All right.
And this is just evergreen anyway. Just go check out everything Rob is doing. Would you say keep it crispy? It's how we end. There's no trick here. It's just the guest says the catchphrase.
Oh, do I look down the camera or look at you?
Yeah, you could do it down the barrel, and you could do it like you're saying it to a group of Marines.
Keep it crispy.
So it is what I think.
Why? We all talk like this. We bark, 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 bark.
You think this isn't real? This is what we do every single day. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. We can't stop saying
Eat your breakfast. Keep it crispy.
Perfect.
You made it weird.